Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm playing host tonight. And I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. David Tucker. Mr. David Tucker, welcome to yet another episode of
Thank you, Derek.
I'm going to agree with you on the role of the media in pushing for debate.
They're kind of slunky in there, desperate oriented. Is that being desperate to aspire to greatness?
To say to us right now, everybody gets skeleton in their closet.
The junior of their office.
Who's supposed to determine whether
They are competent. You can't tell me all of
Of all the shows that we have done, Mr. We are just one tonight, you're on the opposite side.
What is the patriotic thing in you being Liberian?
30 seconds.
We don't simply audit for the heck of auditing. You audit, and where the evidence leads, you follow.
Liberian politics is a type of politics.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you're joining us from, welcome to the Liberia Radio and Television Network. If this is your first time joining us, the Liberia Radio and Television Network is a local media institution right here in Northeast Philadelphia. We also have our office running in Liberia as well. So please do us a favor and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. That is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And also encourage your friends and family to do the same. Tonight, the LRTN is proud to present episodes 4, season 5 of the Hard Zone. Again, the Hard Zone is a opinion-based talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political persuasion, and we discuss issues surrounding Liberia politics. And we try to, as much as we can, to keep it educational as possible. And just by way of disclaimer, all of the opinions and positions that will be offered on this show tonight are of the individual panelists that will be offering them, and not the official position of the network. With that being said, we have, as you all, if this is the first time joining us, you know what we do here. This is the Hard Zone. There's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk, and we have a lot in store for you tonight. Just to give you a heads up on what to expect tonight on this episode. As always, we will bring you our current event, and we will bring you our current event. Then right after, we'll bring you the discussions on the current event, where we'll pick one topic from the current event and have discussions surrounding that. And we will get into our conversation surrounding the president of Liberia, President Joseph Nyeman Boakai, exercising his constitutional responsibility in delivering his first State of the Union address, or SONAN for short. He did that on Monday of this week, so we will be having our conversation surrounding or excerpt from the State of the Union address by President Joseph Nyeman Boakai. And also, there has been a lot of talks around appointments in government, so we've been seeing a lot of speculative reportings from different media institutions. So we will bring you that discussion as well. And thereafter there, we'll bring you what we have in store for our icebreaker, and then we will ask our panelists for their closing remark, and then draw the curtain to this episode. But before we go any further, and before we go to my co-host, Mr. David Ntakwe, I run over introducing you tonight, but I will now just interrupt everything and just say welcome to episode 4, season 5 of the Hard Zone, Mr. Ntakwe.
Yeah, Derek. Good evening. Should I say good morning? Yes, it's after 12. It's after 12 o'clock in Liberia. So good morning, Derek and others.
Thank you very much. Yes, good morning, good evening if you're watching us from the diaspora. Good morning if you're watching us from Liberia. So again, before I go any further, before I go over to my co-host, Mr. David Ntakwe, let me first encourage you, please, to share this program on your page. You still have time. It's going to be a long hours of conversation, political conversations here after we introduce our panelists. And we again, let me encourage you please to share this program on your Facebook page and also on YouTube. Make sure you encourage your friends and family to tune in and benefit from what we have in store tonight. Again, I would like to announce that we'll feature a special guest on the show tonight. The running mate for Clarence Monument, Mistress Grace Pound, will be our special guest on this episode. So make sure you're here. Grab a beverage of your choice because it's going to be a very intriguing discussion here tonight surrounding issues in Liberia. But with that being said, let me now turn over to my co-host, Mr. David Ntakwe, for the current event from the current event folder in Liberia. Mr. Takwe.
Yeah, Derek. Thank you very much, Derek. And Derek, as you mentioned, quite recently, President Joseph Boakai delivered his State of the Nation address, reiterating his government's determination to fight corruption and question those who are suspected of misdirecting public funds into their personal use. President Boakai had earlier said that he would have set up a committee, including international people or auditors, to carry on a massive audit of outgoing officials of the George Weah government, of the Coalition for Democratic Government. David, as we speak, presidential nominees are queuing up at the Liberian Senate, where they are facing confirmation hearings. Just a few days ago, 4 presidential nominees, including Finance Minister Designate Boima Kamara, Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Sylvester Grisby, and Dabo Jala, who was nominated by Joseph Boakai as the head of the Liberia Revenue Authority, or Commissioner General of the Liberia Revenue Authority, plus another nominee for the post of Minister of Education. They faced the Liberian Senate quite recently, where they were scrutinized or questioned to determine their ability, competence, qualification for the positions to which they were nominated by President Joseph Boakai. Just yesterday or today, if I can recall, the Liberian Senate unanimously confirmed 3 of the nominees. 3 of the nominees. The Liberian Senate unanimously confirmed Boima Kamara as Finance Minister Designate. They've confirmed him. They also unanimously confirmed Dabo Jala as a Commissioner General of the Liberia Revenue Authority. The Liberian Senate also confirmed Sylvester Grisby as Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. And the Liberian Senate will be communicating their decision to the President, Joseph Boakai, that his nominees for those positions, Finance Minister, Commissioner General of the Liberia Revenue Authority, and the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. So the Liberian Senate will be communicating to the President that these gentlemen have been confirmed. His nominees for those positions have been confirmed. Today, the Liberian Senate was expected to hold the confirmation hearings of Foreign Minister Designate Cyril Bessel Nyanti. Cyril Bessel Nyanti, they arrived in the chambers of the Liberian Senate, accompanied by prominent Liberian women, including former Foreign Minister Olubanke King Akiriri, Nema Bowie, I beg your pardon, and other prominent Liberian women, including former Monrovia City Mayor Ophia Setoma. They accompanied the Foreign Minister designate to the Liberian Senate, where she was suspected to be screened or scrutinized by members of the Liberian Senate, most especially the Committee on Foreign Affairs headed by Maserati County Senator Darius Delo. Quite surprisingly or shockingly to people who had turned up to witness the confirmation hearing of the Foreign Minister designate, the Senate or members of the Senate postponed the confirmation hearings of the Foreign Minister designate Miata Besro, postponed it to an unspecified date without giving further details, to the disappointment of first the Foreign Minister designate herself, and second, the prominent Liberians, women, and others who accompanied her to the Liberian Senate. Besides that, upon her arrival, there was jubilations outside. In fact, there was a group of supporters of Miata Beslow's nomination as Foreign Minister of the current government. And what was annoying to members of the Liberian Senate was some of the people, prominent Liberian women and others who had accompanied Miata Beslo, the Foreign Minister designate to the Liberian Senate, flooded the chambers of the Liberian Senate, annoying senators, including Edwin Mervyn Slow of Bome County, who in fact said, without mincing his words, that since those who have accompanied Miata Beslo to the Liberian Senate or to the chambers of Liberian Senate have occupied our seats as senators, the confirmation hearings will not be heard. And so Edwin Snowden and others walked out because the chambers are flooded with some of those who accompanied Miata Beslo, and the seats of the senators were occupied, and so the senators, were displeased with the situation. So, but when they returned to the chambers after the sergeant at arms and others succeeded in letting out those who had occupied the seats of the senators, when the senators returned, they made an announcement that, in fact, the announcement was made by Maserati County Darius Dillon, who chairs the Committee on Foreign Affairs of the Liberian Senate, announcing to the public and the nominee and her supporters that they, as senators, had decided to postpone the confirmation hearing of Miata Beslo to an unspecified date. But what must have prompted the senator's decision is the $1 million question. Diverse views from Liberians, political pundits, and analysts are attributing the senator's decision to the overcrowdedness of the chambers by Miata Beslo's supporters. And another factor they blamed for the postponement of a confirmation hearing is the internal wrangling, reportedly. I say reportedly because LRTN hasn't confirmed whether there's actually internal wrangling in the Unity Party. But what we're hearing is that because of the internal wrangling in the Unity Party, Miata Baslow's confirmation hearings were postponed. Whether these speculations or the insinuations by political analysts and pundits are true or not. But what I can tell you, Derek, is that quite recently, when some presidential nominees were published, there was a particular name, Jonathan Massaquoi, who was nominated President Joseph Boakai to the position of Justice Minister. Was in a twinkle of an eye, that name of Jonathan Massaquoi was in a twinkle of an eye replaced by Cooper Cra, Councillor Cooper Cra, who also served recently as the Minister of Post and Telecommunications. So people were wondering as to why Jonathan Massaquoi was all of a sudden replaced by Cooper Cra. So people are thinking that it is likely that because of the internal wrangling in the Unity Party as to who should occupy the position of Minister of Foreign Affairs, that's why the senators have postponed the confirmation hearings of Miata Baslow. What we're hearing is that some senior partisans of the Unity Party have their own interests as to who should occupy the position of Foreign Minister and not Miata Baslow. That's what we're hearing. So Miata Baslow's confirmation hearing was postponed to an unspecified date. We are also hearing that Unity Party, most especially senior partisans of the Unity Party or decision makers of the Unity Party, are suggesting that the person who occupies the position of Foreign Minister should be a Liberian who is a member of the Unity Party. This is unconfirmed anyway. These are speculations, these are analyses and insinuations of political analysts and pundits. After Miata Baslow's confirmation was postponed, just after 1 hour, the Agriculture Minister Destiny Alexander Nyota appeared for confirmation hearing, which lasted up to 6:30. And Nyota is a familiar name with the Agriculture Ministry, where at many instances he served as consultant both for the World Food Organization and other groups to ensure that agriculture projects or the agriculture program of the country is put in place. And so now the Liberian Senate has confirmed three nominees. Confirmed the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Finance designate Boima Kamara. The Senate has also unanimously confirmed Sylvester Grisby, Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. The Senate has also unanimously confirmed Double Jala as the Commissioner General of the Liberia Revenue Authority. Sorry, Derek, I tried to look at okay, so also in a queue for confirmation hearings, Director of the Liberian National Police or Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, Gregory Coleman, the the head of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Ibrahim Kroman, and the Commerce Minister designate, Amin Modad, are presidential nominees in the queue for confirmation hearings tomorrow and in the coming week. So, Derek, and so far, Joseph Boakai is under pressure to declare his assets. Joseph Boakai, during his inaugural speech, has said he would have declared assets to be followed by other senior officials of his government. Up to now, Joseph Boakai hasn't declared assets. And according to the Code of Conduct, or the portion of the Liberian Constitution, people should appointed officials of the government or elected positions of the government, including the President Joseph Boakai, should declare their assets even before taking their respective seats or positions in the government. Joseph Boakai hasn't done that. So there are concerns and calls from ordinary Liberians and pro-democracy organizations asking the president and his members or officials to declare their assets. As far as others are concerned, they have already violated the Code of Conduct or the Constitution by taking office without first declaring their assets. So Joseph Boakai is under pressure in terms of his declaration of assets. In terms of the War Crimes Court or the declaration of assets still, Prince Johnson of Nimba County, Senator Prince Johnson of Nimba County, quite recently, during discussions by the senators on the declaration of assets, Senator Prince Johnson of Nimba County said there wasn't any need for him to declare his assets to the Liberian Senate. He said those are assets, and it was not necessary to declare assets for individual members or officials of the government to declare their assets because those assets are their personal properties. But his comments were rebuked by his colleague senators who refer him to the Code of Conduct and the portion of the Liberian Constitution that demands that public officials declare their assets before taking their respective seats. So, Derek, those are the current events for now.
Thank you, David, as always, for that splendid reporting for the current event coming out of Liberia. And just to transition over to the current event from the diaspora, we have just two in our folder here. And as you know, the African Cup of Nations 2023 is ongoing, and we are at the quarterfinal stage. And we are very certain that we're now going to have the current holder of the African Cup of Nations. We'll have a new winner as in Senegal has been eliminated from the African Cup of Nations. So we are in the quarterfinal stage. Nigeria versus Angola will face off tomorrow, February 2 at 17-hour GMT. And we also see the Guinea versus DRC the same day tomorrow. And we have Mali versus Ivory Coast and Cape Verde versus South Africa. So that's for the quarterfinal stage of the African Cup of Nations, just in case you're following. In another development, we have Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso announcing withdrawal from the ECOWAS. So the three nation that is led by military governments accused the regional bloc of becoming a threat to member states. Three military-led West African nations have announced their immediate withdrawal from regional bloc ECOWAS, accusing the body of becoming a threat to its member. Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso decide in complete sovereignty on the immediate withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and they did that through a joint statement that was published on Sunday. If you need more on that development, you can visit Al Jazeera website or aljazeera.com, and you will have a full story behind that or the immediate withdrawal of the three African nations from ECOWAS. With that being said, I would like to at this point encourage all of you to please share this program on your Facebook page, and also make sure you're following us. That is the Liberia Radio and Television Network, and encourage your friends and family to follow us as well. And more importantly, today to tune into this program. So share this program on your social media page. At this point in time, I would like to now introduce our panelists for the night and our special guest. If we have him, so we have Sharif. That confused me a little bit. Bobby Mitchell Crawford, Bishop Reeves, Mr. Boyd, and our special guest, Grace T. Pan. So let me welcome all of you to the Hard Zone, and I'd like to start with you, our special guest. Welcome to the Liberia Radio and Television Network, first of all, and then welcome to the Hard Zone. So let me officially welcome you to this program. Can you hear me?
She's muted, Derek.
Let's see. No, she's not muted.
She's not muted. Okay. I'm not hearing her.
Good evening, Mrs. Swan. Can you hear us?
Yes, good evening. I'm hearing you.
Oh, I said, okay. You're welcome to the House Zone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now let's Mr. Sheriff, welcome to episode 4, season 5 of the House Zone. It's a pleasure to have you. You're on mute as well, my friend.
Yeah, that's my bad. Thank you very much, Derek. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Bobby Mitchell Crawford, the Lord Mayor of Dentor. Welcome to another episode.
It is a sad day in Liberia, but we will rise again. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It is a pleasure.
Thank you very much for being here. Bishop Reeves, welcome to another episode.
Thank you. It's a pleasure always.
Let's hear from you, Mrs. Goa, Mrs. Grace Goa. Welcome to another episode.
Thank you very much, Derek. And I would like to say welcome to Mrs. Grace Pan, a visionary leader of LANU. I really appreciate her being on the platform. I would like to say hi to all the other panelists, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm sure you guys listened to the current event from my co-host, Mr. Takbe. And for our discussion, I'd like to draw your attention to this article from Front Page Africa, where the former Minister of State of Presidential Affairs and sanctioned government official and now Senator for Mike Gibby County, Senator Nathaniel McGill, calls for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. And in an interview with Front Page Africa, he says that he calls for the Economic Crimes Court, not just for those that, specifically in his case, for those that have been falsely accused. Now, I want to bring this to you guys so we can briefly talk about it, and then we could take a break and get into our main discussion tonight. Do you guys think this is just a bluff? Do you think the senator really mean it when in his call for the War and Economic Crimes Court? I'd like to start with you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford, and then I will give each panelist 1 minute 30 seconds to briefly talk about that.
Thank you, Derek. For the past days, as a plunder was happening in Liberia, because we've been in it for a very long time. Advocacy has been a passion for me from the time I was in grade school in Liberia. And my political philosophy is service. So whenever I have the opportunity to discuss Liberia, I take it very serious. Sometimes I'm very passionate about it. I speak with so much force because I know Liberia can do better. With the question of lawmakers giving individual press conferences, discussing the War Crime Code, which is unambiguous when it comes to the establishment of a War Crime Code. It is enshrined in the TRC report. This is something that should have been implemented a long time ago. So when you see individual lawmakers or any politician for that matter that is discussing at this point in time, it is just grandstanding. At least that's my own estimation. If they are really serious, all they have to do is just reference the TRC report and have a unanimous vote in the Senate, the People's House, so that they can implement the War and Crime Code. And a lot of times when people discuss this issue, their mind is just specifically on war, but it's about economic crime against the Liberian people. There are individual citizens that never participated directly in the prosecution of the Liberian Civil War, but they engaged in economic exploitation of the country. Those people need to be prosecuted as well. So, I mean, it should not be a political talking point or just to garner some sympathy. I think it should be something that would take weight and tenacity of everybody, including you and myself. You know, let it be a clarion call that we want the War Crime Code, let it fully implement the TRC report, and let them stop playing politics. At least that's how I look at it. It's politics. Whenever that is discussed, it's grandstanding. It's meant to score a political point or to gain sympathy from the public. So I don't really look at it to be anything, to be frank. I'm done though. I should.
Derek?
I was
Derek
on
is
mute.
sleeping.
No, I'm not sleeping. I was on mute. I said thank you very much, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Well, let's hear from you, Bishop Reese.
Well, I think it's a long time coming, and we need to start playing politics with the War Crimes Court proceedings. I think we should just go ahead and just get it done, and it's gonna come regardless of what politics you're playing. It will come, and we will get it done.
Thank you very much, Sheriff, Mr. Sheriff. Let's hear from you on that.
Yes, Derek, thank you. You see, the thing about the War and Economic Crimes Code, for far too long, Liberians have been playing politics, so I'm going to buttress my bishop there. This thing is not about politics, it's about holding people accountable. So, it's just sad that we always sit on social media and on our various platforms and keep calling about this particular War and Economic Crimes Code. And when we're given the chance to actually implement it, we shy away from it. So this time around, for the senator to be asking for it, which is a good thing. But again, he has the border puppet as well. He has the power to implement that as well. So we're going to look forward. We're going to see if it is another bluff or not. We're going to get a chance to do that. But clearly for me, I'm not sure this government would definitely move forward with that War and Economic Crimes Code. Just for me. Thank you. Are you there?
Oh, thank you. I don't know why who keep muting me. Mrs. Goa, let's hear from you. I'm sorry.
You must be ready sleeping today, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm not sleeping at all.
Well, I heard that coming from Natalia McKay, and the first thing I thought about was that McKay was in a very high position in the last government, and he sat right near the president. He never requested, about this whole War and Economic Crimes Code. what he's seeing today is a good thing, but other people will look at now. So why this time that you personally requesting this and you had the power in your hand, you were the president right hand man, you could have pushed that at the time you were in government with President Weah. You all sat there and did nothing when it came to the War and Economic Crimes Court. Now Joseph Barker had taken power, and you want to come and say that. Besides, you're a sanctioned senator. So when it comes to the international community, they're not even trying to listen to people like you. The people are not willing to work with sanctioned or politicians anymore from Liberia. So that's why I just feel that this government will be held hindered when it comes to all the requests that they're making. Although it doesn't have the Liberian government can still bring the World Economic Crimes Code with all the international community, but you just sit and wonder why is it these people who requesting this right now never made that request when we was in power, because he is we are government employee and he was very meant to this man. So then it just it looks like to some of us that they just want to say it right now because they're in a place and they can just request anything they feel like, because like people are giving them power after everything they did to the country. And so they sit now in power, they will just request what they want to request. But it's a good thing for the World Economic Crimes Court to come if that what the Liberian people want at this time. But coming from that time again, it holds no weight.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Goa. Now let's go over to our special guest, Mrs. Grace T. Kwan. Just give us your position on Nathaniel Senator McGill calling for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's something belated. We should be talking other things by this time if we have had leaders who were actually interested in our country. Because the issue of a war and economic crime code is something that each and every Liberian who has passion for this country and wants to see justice prevail as up to fore. So it's no strange thing. I think it's about time that it just happened. Let this present government ensure that the War Economic Crime Code becomes a reality.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you for your. Go ahead.
And Derek.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Derek.
Yes.
Can I ask a general question?
Sure.
Okay. Now, a panelist. My question is to all the panelists. Liberia is a sovereign state, and Liberia should be they want to be accusing or giving punishments to those who is suspect to be corrupt. But it is the United States that has done that, imposing sanctions on some of our officials for corruption. My first question is, do you validate the Americans' claim that these individuals are actually corrupt, or you believe the Americans because they are Americans?
When you want me to come in?
And the other question is, don't we think as Liberians that the fact that America can make such a decision and not us as Liberians or our government, don't you think that it takes something from us as a sovereign state?
Who want to go first? I can come in if you want.
All right, you can go ahead, Mr. Sheriff, and then we'll take Mr. Squire right after.
Yes, thank you very much, brother. You see, yes, we are a sovereign nation. It's just so sad and disgraceful as a nation that America will come and sanction our officials for us, and we sit and do nothing about it. Matter of fact, before America can even come out with any allegation, we should be ahead of them if we're really serious about fighting corruption. In my entire young, youthful life in living in Liberia and out of Liberia, I haven't seen that leader that will come and step forward with a clear agenda, with a clear mission to lift the Liberian people from poverty without corruption. Don't get me wrong, corruption cannot be eradicated at all, but we can minimize it. America sanctioning our officials, it has been for, if I'm mistaken, I think almost 2-3 years now, or this has been happening for the past. And nothing is going around it. George Weah did nothing. Clearly, Mr. Bouakai will not do anything. So to your question, America will continue to do it because America is the big dog. And even in America, there are corruptions going on here, and we all seeing it. It's just a shame that for a sovereign nation like Liberia, they will continue to come and sanction us, and we ourselves are not doing what we're supposed to do. So for me, America should have come there in the first place. But again, don't get me wrong, we are a better driven country. When you say sovereign nation, well, yes. But at the end of the day, if you're a sovereign nation and you still depend on America pocket, America will have to dictate to you. And in this particular sanction, America is right to do so. Because if I give you my $5 to do what I expect you to do, and you're not doing it, my brother, I will come after you. Because it is my money. So America is investing hugely in the Liberian economics. So if America is sitting there and people just doing whatever they want to do and Liberians clap, of course they will come after us. So for me, yes, we are a sovereign nation. On the other hand, we are beggar and we have to submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff. Let's hear from you, Mr. Squad.
Derek, I want to do a follow-up question to Sheriff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Sheriff did say that President Weah did not do anything about the fight against corruption, so Joseph Bouakai wouldn't. Why are you jumping to such a conclusion? Because Joseph Bouakai didn't, John Weah didn't do it, Joseph Bouakai will not do it. What are the indicators that lead into your decision that Joseph Bouakai wouldn't do it because Joshua didn't do it?
30 seconds, Terry.
Yes, 30 seconds real quick. David, they say the Christmas will be all red. You will know from the Eve. You understand me? Joseph Bouakai first, look, for me, I wanted to give them the time to do whatever they want to do. Because for me, when I'm ready for criticism, I like to do it with evidence. Joseph Bouakai campaign, and we all helped Joseph Bouakai to win this election on the clear message that when he comes, he's going to do things differently. We criticize George Weah for carrying our documents, the country agreements, everything to his house, leading the country from his home. Look,
thank you.
Do you know what that means?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Joseph Bouakai, just quickly. Joseph Bouakai is doing that since he became president. He has not been to that mansion. That's one. The Unity Party, the money saga, nothing is going on. That's two. Joseph Bouakai is slow in appointing his officials because of the same corruption we're talking about. People coming in and out with lists. It's number three. So
thank you.
You will not fight corruption with this type of trend.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff.
Let's hear from you, Mr. Squad.
Well, America is a country that imposes sanctions on any country. Just for your information, America has imposed sanctions on China. It has imposed sanctions on Iran and Russia. When the individual or the country poses a threat to the international peace and security in the world, they sanctions people, they sanction the country and they sanction people in the country. When the international community, which is America at this point, see a lot of individuals in Liberia embezzling money and stealing a lot from the government. That's a threat to the world because anything can happen in the country when people get mad with that kind of corruptions that are going on. If the Liberian government, if the Liberian government cannot take a head to it and punish the people that are taking the money or even bring them to books, America has to do that for the safety of the countries that are around that country and for the safety of the world. That's the reason why America put sanctions on those individuals. Now, the sanction was posed on them. America has all the information, relevant information, the reason why they put the sanction, and then they did their background work, and they have proof for everything that's going wrong. So therefore, it left with the Liberian government when the sanctions get on these individuals to investigate them and make sure that they are clear from these sanctions or they are persecuted if they find guilty from the sanction. Liberian government do not do that. So America is not going to allow Liberia to pose threat to the rest of the world and Liberia or depend solely and fully. They call themselves sovereign nation, but they depend on America for almost everything. So yes, they will put sanctions on them. Is the Liberian government doing the right thing right now to investigate these people? No. These same people are being put into state power and making demands on the rest of the citizens of Liberia and also the world that they want this and they want that. And now you see Natalia McGay, they should bring World Economic Council. Go get investigated first, my brother. Go and then clear your need for the sanction before you start making all these demands, because you're not even in a place to be making demands on the Liberian government that is in place right now. That's
Grace, you believe it that these Liberians or officials or past officials are corrupt because it is the United States that says it.
I don't believe
that's why you believe it.
No, they're not. I don't believe they are corrupt because the United States says it. I believe they are corrupt because I've seen it with my own eyes. Natalia McGill went to power without anything. He lived in Lockington with my neighbor came from a proper poor family. All of a sudden, he got in state power and became rich overnight and was building Messalina for his mother to be buried in, and also built an island almost for his wife and lived in mansion and built a house for himself. He even rebought one of my friend's houses. The man bought a house for $200,000. He went to the family, took the $200,000 and gave out to the family and told the people to get him many money. That he would take the house by force when we are government were in power, and he took that man's house unlawfully because he was in state power. So is that because America say you live in that world, Mr. Tagwe? You see that all the people that left from power when they got in power, were they have that kind of money that they have right now? Were they living in those houses that they live in right now? My mother worked in the Liberian government for almost 30 years. She built one single house in Lockington with 4 bedrooms in it, and that's all she had. And she took LPA to build that house. She never stole money from the government because they were not even allowing that nonsense to happen at the time. So are you telling us that Natalia McGay in the government, as rich as he was, that's the reason why now we're saying that they should declare the asset? Are they declaring the assets? They are not, because they don't want to show the Liberian people what they have. And Prince Johnson is telling us that he's not going to declare his asset because of the sin stealing that they do within government. And that's what we are saying. So America has the right. If the Liberian government decide to take these people to court and make sure their names are clear, let them do that. But right now they are sanctioned. And because of that, it's stopping a lot of benefits coming to Liberia because of them. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bobby Michelle Crawford, I don't know if you'd like to add to this discussion, but I do have a question I would like for you to address. Now, how about those people that argue that the sanctions hasn't really been effective in the fight against corruption? Because for one fact, the administration do not follow up with investigation, and also we still see these people serve in government, get more richer and get involved with corrupt practices. So one can argue that the sanction only stops these people from coming to the United States. Why does the United States keep putting more sanction when it hasn't really been effective in the fight against corruption?
Is that a question for me?
Yes, Bobby. If you would like to respond to David and then address that.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide my 2 cents, on the question that David asked. I think David already know the answer. One thing I want David to understand here, I think he knows that international relation is conducted in an arena where there's no legislative body to regulate the affairs of state. So powerful nation and weaker nation are at the period of powerful nation. And it's even compounded by the fact that Liberia is one of the few countries in Africa that has a dual currency. Our banking institution is tied in with the Federal Reserve Bank here. And the modus operandi of the Liberian government when it comes to how government is ran and the Central Bank of Liberia, all of these different transactions, embedded in that financial integrity of the bank is a financial crime unit. So if you want to liquidate or do business with other banks, especially banks that are here in the United States, and you deal in United States currency, they will ask you for certain cathedral. And mind you, most of the officials that are stealing those money, they bank in the different banks, whether it's Echo Bank or that bank in the United States, financial people, they see all of those things. And with the issue of sanction, Liberia, any country can do it. Just how you can declare a diplomat or persona non grata, a country has a constitutional right to impose sanction on anybody. How you go about accepting that sanction is your own business. Because you have to also understand the Liberian government budget is donor driven. Every year we pass a budget and it's not enough to service government and provide the service deliverable to the people. We have to ask for money. And for the past almost for years, as I can recall, every time the United States government will allocate certain amount for this, in fact, just quite recently, it was brought to our attention that $25 million was meant for the healthcare sector, like the George Weah government. They did not even give it to them. Even the road fund, European countries put into that account. So if you have all of the external parties outside of Liberia helping you to run the affairs of your nation, of course, they will have a say in how you conduct your house. And with this question of sanction, it is specifically laid out why they're doing this. They're not telling you, we're telling you this man is corrupt in your country. They're telling you that he's corrupt for us based upon so and so. He stole this money from your country, he put it here, and we see it. So it is left for you. If you want to foster good relationship with that country who is your benefactor, in this case, the United States is our benefactor. If you want to foster good relationship and you are using your currency alongside yours, it is in your best interest to go ahead and prosecute these people. That's just good governance, because there's now some wild stories. They got receipts, they got a paper trail that these officials, especially with the Manesky Act, it should be a shame on us. We are the most evidence-sanctioned country right now in West Africa. Like government officials, we should be ashamed. It is not wish hunt. The evidence are there, and it just take the goodwill, or it take political will, so to speak, for any sitting president to be able to pursue these cases so that we can maintain our relationship with the United States. Our sovereignty is question mark. You've been a sovereign nation for the past 175 years, and you cannot even conduct an appropriate inaugural ceremony. Good governance continue to elude you. You have chaos at the capital doing confirmation hearing, and you call yourself a sovereign nation. We should be ashamed of ourselves. You can only call yourself a sovereign nation if you are willing to conduct yourself in perfect decorum, and that has eluded us. So I pause.
Thank you for before. Teacher Reese, you want to contribute to this discussion? But let me recognize the presence of Councillor Freeman. Councillor Freeman, welcome to another episode.
Thank you, Derek. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Let's hear from you, Teacher Reese, and after you, we'll take a break.
Okay, so historically, Liberia have had problems, very serious problems with impunity. And we all know that. Historically, we've had problems with impunity. We do not want to punish corruption. We always turn a blind eye, because if I'm caught in it today, I'm related to somebody who is related to somebody, and that person will go and speak on my behalf, and then they will give me a position, and I can go down to the different counties. They will elect me into positions, and nobody's going to say anything about it. Historically, we've had these issues with impunity. Until we can look at it as a country and begin to deal with it, other countries will begin to play us like violin.
Can you cite one or two instances, Mr. Reyes? Can you cite one or two instances of what you're talking about?
Okay. We can incite. We can give you a couple of examples. Our speaker now, he committed crimes in America. He went to jail and came back, and it was just okay for us to make him a senator and push him up.
Commission.
Is there a problem?
Let me give you a recent one. We decided that we're going to have dual citizenship, okay, and then it was said that those who have dual citizenship, certain positions you wouldn't be able to occupy. All right, that is the legislative branch, the judiciary. You wouldn't be able to participate in those places. But we have a lot of people over there who got dual citizenship, and they're still electing them and putting them into these different positions.
For example, I'd like you to call names. For example,
no. I started calling names already. Okay, yeah, I started calling names already, and I'll give you so many. I can give you so many examples, and me and you know, all of us on this panel know. Yes, I'm not just here to just shoot at people. I'm here to talk about our problem, and we need to address our problem rather than shooting, calling names and shooting at people. We all know that when it comes to punishing crime in Liberia, we have a problem with it, and so until Liberia can come to that place where we can deal with crimes, we can deal with corruption.
I'm not.
Okay, I think someone would need to help our guest so she can switch over to maybe Google or something, because we had the same problem some time ago.
I'm having a lot of breaking. I don't know why.
Are you on
Google Chrome? If you use Google Chrome, it works better.
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so
let's go and see how this goes up.
Yeah. So for short, this is what I'm saying. We've all had problems with impunity. When people commit crime, we don't want to persecute them. We always give them a pat on the hand and we keep going forward. That's why America will keep shooting stuff at us, because we see it and we don't want to touch it. This economic war crime code, we could have done this thing a long time ago, but it's the same problem with impunity. And we all know that.
Thank you very much.
Derek, I just wanted to add just a little clarity.
May I just add?
Okay.
Yes, let's hear from Mr. Spahn first, and then I'll give you 30 seconds to do that.
All right, there she comes in.
Well, you can take the 30 seconds now because she just disconnected.
Oh yeah, I just want to provide a little clarity to the Bishop statement when it comes to dual citizenship and with the Speaker of the House. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but from my own common man sense, when somebody commit a crime and serve the term and the person is out, they're not a criminal anymore. Well, because they already served the term. I'm not a lawyer. Maybe somebody could help me here. But the Speaker of the House did serve a term. He went to jail, he served it, and he came out, so he's the new man now. Now, in Liberia,
is that right?
I think I'm back.
Mr. Terry, we have a
that's wrong information he's giving.
Mr. Sherry, what's about stigma? What's about stigma? Mr. Sherry, what's about stigma?
David, let's allow him to conclude.
Mr. Sherry, what's about stigma? Stigma.
David, well, yes. That could play. That could play.
We'll have the counselor to provide the clarity, the legal clarity. Mr. Sheriff, go ahead.
Okay, Cool. So maybe the counselor will help me here better because again, I'm not a lawyer. For me, I'm saying what I think. So in Liberia, when you talk about the dual citizenship, I think we shouldn't be depriving Liberians from the diaspora who wants to go back home and be part of their government or and be part of something in our country. I mean, if we are now trying to beat on somebody because they got dual citizenship, or we think they got dual citizenship because we feel like they're not in our party or they're not in our interest or whatever it is, then we're going to be harming ourselves as well. Because we are in this country, we're having kids, we are in this country, we living here, and nobody came here because you just wanted to come here. We all came here to find something good for ourselves and our children. So having people in that country that have dual citizenship or whatever it is, we shouldn't be calling them out. I mean, it's not for me, the country we have, the people are afraid of, race. I mean, let me say a challenge. And I don't know why they are afraid of, a challenge. We all should be able to go and compete in that country. They are afraid of competition. So they want to limit certain group of Liberians to not get to certain area because they feel that it is just okay for them to be there. Because if you, the pastor, or if you, the Councilor Freeman here, goes to that country, I think you will do better. Not more than the people that are there, but you do better because you go with expert, and knowledge. You go there with advanced knowledge and everything. So that is the fear within our brothers and sisters back there. So they always come up with the people from America, they are citizens of America. They can't come here and do any other thing. So for that citizenship, my brother, we need to trash it away. But right, this country, if you are Liberian, you come here, you take that citizenship, you can be representative, you can be senator.
Thank you.
So we can have that going on.
No, Sherry. I think you're making a mistake. You're making a mistake, Sherry, because you are making a mistake, Sherry, because before it was agreed on, there were clause that was put in there. So we're not just saying something that we're trying to go against people. There was a clause put in there, and I'm just speaking based on the clause that was put in there. We're not trying to stop Liberians from in America or all of that. No. I'm just going by the clause that was put in there. That's all.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Spahn, before I take your contribution, you say you wanted to do a clarity, Bobby, and then I would I'll come to Councilor Freeman so he can provide.
Yeah, real quickly. With respect to, I think the moderation is being sidetracked in some of the topics. Discussion is not fully exhausted. I understand we get carried away by these subtext, but it will serve our audience better and ourselves here on the platform. It will just stick to the topic being presented to us. That's my own,
Yes. Thank you very much for the observation. But let's Councilor Freeman, can you clarify the assertion of Mr. Sheriff made earlier?
So, you mean on the question of the Speaker of the House?
Yes. Yes.
Well, look, the fact is, the Speaker committed a crime that involves money, right? It's a trust issue there. I get it. He's an ex-convict. You might call him a felon or ex-felon, but he may not be a criminal any longer, but he's still an ex-convict. In fact, that is a term of art that's used for people who have served their time in prison. You're ex-convict. And even in America that we all live today, when you're an ex-convict, there are limits to the kind of job you can hold, right? Now, considering that the Speaker is in a position of trust, I'm sure he has a budget and all of that he's managing now as a Speaker. The issue of trust is what is concerning. And because his crime involved is a monetary crime, one would think that in a really functional society, he wouldn't be even in the House of Representatives, yet alone a Speaker. So I know he served his time, he's an ex-convict, but he's in the position of trust as a Speaker of the House. But given the nature, he didn't just commit some misdemeanor or an infraction. He committed a serious crime involving trust. He had people money that was in his possession, and he commingled that money and then subsequently converted that money into his personal use. Look, I'm not here to second guess the Liberian people, but strictly as a matter of principle, he should not be put in the position of trust, because now he's managing potentially a huge sum of money. And so that's my only concern I have. Yeah, he's served his time, but given that the crime he's committed, there should be a limit to what we expose him to in terms of leadership.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Unfortunately, may I just add? Unfortunately, we Liberians, we as Liberians, we always support what is wrong. A person who has, issues of those nature shouldn't be put in the position. But who puts the person in the position? People vote them into those positions.
Correct.
So that's why you see the Americans have to come up and bring sanction. At the end of the day, we all saw the relief when that sanction came. People do wrong and just walk with impunity. At the end of the day, we don't have the spine or the strength to even come up and say, look, this person has done, they need to be persecuted. If the Americans didn't come, everybody who do anything, who has done wrong, will continue to do what they are doing. And we go to ballot boxes and we elect these people. So we have our own problems. So if the Americans don't help us, then we are doomed.
Thank you.
Thank you
Let
very
me
much.
briefly respond to what Mr. Sherry as it relates to dual citizenship. Dual citizenship, if I may, just briefly. I know Bishari alluded to it, and Mr. Sherry also did. Look, every Liberian should have a right to participate in the governing process. However, the laws on the books currently preclude Liberians who have foreign citizenship from holding certain positions. Look, as law-abiding citizens, we can continue to advocate and continue to challenge the existence of that law, right? And hopefully change that law to be more inclusive. But as that law remains on the books, those who want to be law-abiding must abide by the law. We cannot cherry pick what laws to abide by and what laws to, just basically disown. The law is repugnant in my view. However, I wouldn't go to Liberia and start daring to be Speaker of the House, because I know the very essence of doing that is in violation of the law. So I will hope Liberians who have multiple citizenship, particularly those of us from here who have expert knowledge in certain areas, we want to go back to contribute. Let us come together and continue to attack the existence of that very despotic law, that very repugnant law that basically excludes a whole lot of Liberians from participating in the governing process. But until we do that, let us all remain law-abiding.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And guys, this is where I'm sorry.
May I get a clarity here? I want clarity. I want to be sure. Did President Weah have more than one citizenship? Former President.
There's no evidence to anything here. Nobody giving any evidence here. So
thank you. Thank you guys very much. Guys, if you want who is that question?
Because it becomes something when you practice something until it becomes acceptable. That's what's happening in our society.
Yeah.
You have a law in the book, but there are people with dual citizenship that become something so that's what people follow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There are many in our country that got dual citizenship and they're in position.
Mr. Terry, thank you guys so much for on that discussion. But for now, if you're watching us, this is the Horizon episode 4, season 5, and this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. Stay tuned. We'll bring you more discussions surrounding the President of Liberia first State of the Union address, and we will do that right after the break. But for now, let's take a break, and we'll see you after the break.
Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind.
Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're here on the Liberia Radio and Television Network, who is proud to present to you tonight episode 4, season 5 of the Hard Zone. And the Hard Zone here is an opinion-based talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political persuasions. Tonight, we're featuring the panelists. We're featuring tonight the Lord Mayor of Bentop, Bobby Mitchell Crawford, Mrs. Grace Goad, Bishop Cephas Reeves, Bishop Hagar, who's just joined us, and we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Grace T. Pond. And also, Councilor Freeman is here with us, and Mr. Sheriff, who will later on join us for this program tonight. So if you're watching us, make sure you are sharing this program on your page, and also make sure you're encouraging your friends and family to tune in, because we set up to have a very intriguing conversation tonight surrounding the President of Liberia very first inaugural address, and that is His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai. So again, guys, if you follow Liberia politics, on Monday of this week, the president delivered his first SONA, and there has been a lot of talking points surrounding the SONA. The president declared drugs national crisis, and taking a stance against that, he will submit himself to drugs text, and also make it mandatory for his officials as well to get tested. And he also said a lot of things, and there have been a lot of reactions surrounding the SONA. So we will have discussions surrounding that, and also we've seen developments as it relates to new appointments, and we've seen some of his appointment being confirmed by our legislature. So it's a lot of things to talk about surrounding the SONA. But for now, let me go over to my co-host, Mr. Tapper, so he can set us up on the SONA, and then we can come over to our panelists. But before I do that, I can't stress this enough. Please make sure you are following us. Make sure you are sharing this program on your page, and also encouraging your friends and family to do the same. But Mr. David Takwe, I want you to set the premise for this conversation. Mr. Takwe.
What I do know so far is that during the campaigns, Joseph Boakai promised to fight corruption and the culture of impunity, to end or minimize the culture of impunity in Liberia. So during the SONA, he reiterated that in terms of fighting corruption, this government will ensure that those who are suspected of squandering public funds would have to be audited to give account of those monies they have allegedly diverted into their own personal use. They issued a war crimes court that he did not mention, according to many observers and those who follow his SONA, that he did not mention the issue of the war crimes court. But others within the Unity Party said he did not repeat it because it would have sounded repetitive, because he did mention that during his inaugural program. Yeah, during his inaugural ceremony, he mentioned that about the issue of war crimes, but he did not mention that during his SONA. So as far as people in the Unity Party and the officials of the party are concerned, it would have been repetitive. The president had mentioned that, but those are some of the work I mentioned. And the issue of agriculture, placing agriculture on the top, or making it a priority so that Liberians or Liberia can be able to feed or eat what it plants or produce. So those are some of the issues that Joseph Boakai highlighted in his SONA. I may not name all, but those are some of the major issues that he reiterated or re-emphasized in his State of the Nation address.
Thank you very much, Mr. Takwe, and thank you for the correction. That's why I keep saying the inaugural address when I'm
No,
referencing.
State of the Nation address.
Yes, I keep saying inaugural address when I'm actually talking about the State of the
And Derek, the State of the Nation address, the way it was organized, had they organized the inaugural program like that, you know, Shane wouldn't have come to Liberia as far as the event of the inaugural ceremony was concerned. The Senate took responsibility in terms of the organization of the State of the Nation address, and so it was quite different. It succeeded. The Senate succeeded, or the legislature succeeded in terms of the organization or preparation of the State of the Nation address, and so the State of the Nation address, the event was very successful. There wasn't problem at all associated with it, and apart from the inaugural ceremony that brought shame, that where in fact people felt that it was disorganized. Those who headed or spearheaded the organization of the inaugural event were careless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Takwe. Now, I'd like to start off the conversation with you, Mistress Grace T. Kwan. I'm sure you listened to the President First State of the Nation address, and I know you're a person that is very interested in the health sector, and I learned that you own a clinic. So I would like for you to talk about the State of the Nation address and also the President of Liberia plans for the healthcare. What is your opinion and position on that? Mr. Spahn, I'd like to start.
And Derek, I'm sorry. I thought we would have started with Mrs. Spahn's own experience following the elections in which she supported Mr. Moniba, who was one of the presidential candidates. I want to share our experience about the elections, the just and elections.
I don't want for us to deviate from the conversation on the SONA, but you can always ask us outside of that if you want. But Mr. Spahn, if you can go and address the question I asked you earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Just in short, the elections went well. We did our very best, and we campaigned as much as we could. But at the end of the day, like the Liberian people spoke, and we all accepted the result. And we have a president now. The only thing we can do as Liberians is to make sure we not only pray hard but also work along, because at the end of the day, when you try to hold anybody down, it means that you yourself will also be down. So it's a way forward. We should also take that forward march and start to move. Okay, but on the issue of the health sector, I think it's important to all Liberians. Let me just first say what moved me into getting involved with that. I'm not a medical personnel, or I'm not a doctor. I know nothing about medicine, but it's just passion. I'm the kind of person who, if I start something, I like to see the end of it. I went to the hospital on several occasions, even from having my first child, and the way I saw people treated, medical personnel treated people in the hospital, I thought it was so wrong. You know, when you are sick, you want that attention, you need that care, and the rest of it. And I think it's about time that besides the non-supportive institutions, especially health institutions in this country, it's about time that we change the way we do things. Anybody who does something over and over and expect different results is not really moving in the right direction. So we started this so many years, we planned, we worked towards it, and today we can probably say we have a health facility. I want to appreciate the president for for what he said during his State of the Nation address, and I pray that he will, not just say but also give the kind of support we expect the government to support our health sector. Too many people have died. Mothers have died in childbirth. People get to the hospital, there's no drugs. You take your relative there, they tell you there's no bed or there's no doctor, and I mean the list goes on. It's my own prayer that we will make the difference. And I can assure you right now we are even doing free circumcision in our own little community, and people are coming. We do the circumcision free, yet they buy the drugs, but we know that it will be better. And we pray that the government will look into it and make sure that some of the institutions that claim to be health institutions either be revitalized or change the way they do things and do it in a better manner. Look, our health should be the concern of not only ourselves but also the nation. When you are sick, you need real attention. You need social.
Oh, we lost Mr.
Mrs.
Spahn.
Khan.
But while we await her, again, let me get you guys opinion on the sonar. But Bishop Hager, you just joining us, so welcome to the show. And let me get it started. What is your position on the sonar? What was your favorite part about it, and some of the conversations, the reactions to the sonar? Let me give you the opportunity now, Bishop Hager.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome to
I
all of
don't
us.
know what to keep going on, but basically, I want to commend the president for that portion of the speech, and I pray that our health sector will be looked into very seriously. I remember during the Ebola crisis, it was a critical point for all of us as Liberians. So when you have health institutions that are just there because of the money and what support they will have, this clinic started actually in Louisiana, like the rural part of Monterrey County. But we realized people don't go to the hospital. People will take their herbs when almost dead, then will come to the hospital. So we process live also in Louisiana, we in Locator as well. And this is a densely populated place. I've seen accidents right before my house on medication, and people sitting there arguing when a person is almost dead. Nobody is there. You take them to a health facility, you'll be running from one facility to the next, and it takes forever. And I think we that's our own way of contributing towards our society, not because we're of any. It's not something that we did overnight, as you can see, because nobody was in that campaign thing. This is not campaign. This is passion. This is love for country. And I think if every Liberian can contribute towards this initiative, it will be a plus to all of us as Liberians. So we want to just appreciate the president again for talking about the health sector. We pray that those words will come into reality and benefit all of us as Liberians.
That's good.
David, you are muted.
Yeah, but Bishop Hager, you can go ahead now.
Yes, I'm sorry. I know the producer keep muting me.
Well,
Go ahead.
thank you, Madam Grace. Thank you so much for applauding the president for such a wonderful speech. Also, I don't know whether I should call it a state of the nation, because just barely 1 week after His Excellency Joseph Yuma Bwaga was inaugurated. So to give the state of the nation after 1 week of inauguration, I think it just not really appropriate. But what he actually did was to cast his vision. I look at the whole speech in terms of aspirational. It was what he intended to do. It cannot definitely reflect the state of the nation, because 1 week in presidency, there are so many things he's not aware of, things that need to be scrutinized and put in place. I believe next year, I can guarantee you that you will have a wonderful state of the nation that will reflect every gain that we have made. And speaking in terms of the health, Madam Grace, obviously you are speaking the same language. Just the week, I personally have challenges with the health sector. My nephew has some challenges, and we're talking to the mental home at the hospital. Can you imagine? There, the people couldn't even admit him. I had to call police. The police got to take money from me. It was a complete chaos. I finally now have to buy everything just to keep me there for a medical practitioner to see him. Our country is having major problems at every level. I don't want to look political here, but I think for too long, our people have suffered. There is no social immunity that our people benefit for. You go to JFK, they don't even have the drugs, and you have to go across. They sell all the drugs in the pharmacy. You got to buy yourself. It is not a governmental thing. Maybe it's a governmental thing, but systemically, our people are just incompetent and corrupt, and we need to rear the root of corruption in our country. But the address was very wonderful.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hager. Now let's go to you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Give us your take on the SONA.
This is a sleeping zone today. It seems like everyone relax. So I relax, everybody relax. Okay, let's do some hard zone here. SONA, State of the Nation Address, SONA for short, is a constitutional requirement that gives the president the opportunity to explain to the Liberian people the state of the nation. Also gave the president elected or the president at that time the opportunity to explain his vision for the country. And now, granted, most State of the Nation Address, it has a lot of political connotation. There will be people that look at delivery and content, and a lot of people will say it didn't cover sufficient of a ground, and they are right. In terms of delivery, this speech was on point, but I was a little bit disappointed, and I'm not alone in this. And this seems to be the problem with Liberian president. When Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was elected as president, she brought about vision 2030, that by the year 2030, Liberia will become a middle income country, so to speak. They had speakers that told the United States and Canada explaining the vision of the Ellen government. And that went into fiasco. Then we had the election of George Manuel Weah. They brought about the Popo agenda for peace and development. They explained that vision. And I understand government is continuing with it, right? So you would think by this time that people would be able to borrow from the pages of past government so that whatever good they saw in that program that was good for Liberia, they will continue it. But every elected president that comes to office, they do their own thing. Mr. Bouaka, our president, has arrest. That's agriculture, rule of law, education, sanitation, and terrorism. That wasn't captured in his speech. The only thing I saw, and this is not being political, this is just rolling out the fact. Because I'm a student of history, I listing. That's one problem Liberians have. We don't listing very well when somebody speak. We're just looking for a tiny soundbite and we run with it. He spoke briefly about agriculture. It wasn't extensive. Rule of law, the only thing I saw that he really talked about was the establishment of a drug czar. And we understand that our criminal justice system is split. Look at the Monrovia Central Prison. Look at the judges that are being elected. As we speak right now, less than 33% of the president cabinet is in place. He haven't even started electing, selecting or electing whatever magistrate judges, so that our criminal justice system can be revamped. Look at the post-stack in Monrovia. Zoko's on the street. What plan do you have to take them? We don't want you to take drug tests. We want you to declare your asset. That's not being political. So these low-hanging fruits are something that you're supposed to do, and you should capture that in your speech. The country is plagued with a host of problems, and it's unfortunate that the only thing he alluded to as far as infrastructure was the Gabriel Tucker Bridge, training of 10,000 Liberians for hard tech. That's a minute. What are you doing about revamping the curriculum of Liberia? The Monrovia Demonstration School, the Monrovia Consolidation School System, MCSS, all of the schools are in deplorable condition. What are you doing to repair those schools? At least touch some bits and pieces of it. We don't expect you to present a grand speech, but discuss the issues that are plaguing Liberians. Your vision. So you didn't even do your own vision justice, arrest. You just talk a little bit about it. So in terms of delivery and content, I think it wasn't on point because, yes, they gave him 30 minutes to take into consideration, his whatever existing healthcare crisis that he has, but it was an opportunity for him to just cast a vision for the Liberian people, explain to them in no uncertain terms, this is what the Unity Party-led government is going to do for the next 6 years as embodied in arrest. And he never did that. That's why I was looking forward to. But he did his best, and his supporter would say it was the best speech ever. And I beg to differ.
Thank you very much, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Let's hear from you, Mrs. Spahn. Mrs. Goami, we already heard from you.
You know, okay.
I'm sorry. Let's hear from you, Mrs. Goa.
Yeah.
You're getting confused with it.
For me,
Yes.
I just want to say I'm very proud of you, Mrs. Spahn, to see you build that kind of, nice fitted clinic in Looking Town, where I grew up and I live, and for Looking Town to have such a clinic, and then the clinic structure put out there because of my political leader, Mrs. Spahn, I feel so proud. And this is a big accomplishment for Looking Town and also for yourself. So, I want to congratulate you and your family for doing this for the community. I think this is the way to go, for any Liberian to go and pick this kind of. The Looking Town people don't have to rush all the way to JFK when they're sick, except for certain high, like surgery and stuff, but at least they can go to the first clinic and get diagnosed, and then they be extended to the next clinic, the next bigger clinic. So that's a great accomplishment.
Let me interrupt you by saying we are also we are almost halfway going with our theater. We have portions of the machines and whatever needed. So just in the event of those kind of issues, we'll also be able to handle it. Even when the Ministry of Health came, they applauded us for our effort and said this can be a clinic, it has to be a health facility. I said, well, it left with the Ministry of Health to decide what kind of facility we have. So we can assure you that the mission for our OR is already here. And by the grace of God, in the next few months, if there's a case for operation, it will also be handled as well.
That is a huge accomplishment.
Right now, everything, ranging from kidney, liver, spleen, we got a heart machine, we got ultrasound, and the list goes on. I think
there was
clapping.
The Palestinian liner clapping or what?
No, it's not. This is not about. This is not about. This is about
the Palestinian liner clapping or what? Is it a cheering squad of liner?
Let's hear from you, Mr.
This is Liberia's issue. This is beyond party line. We don't do partisan. This is we don't ask you political.
This is beyond party line. This is that look when these kind of things happen, we put like rough first. Besides this hospital, Mrs. Spahn has a huge. She has an international school in Looking Town. You knew that?
It seems to me that you're saying that the opposition doing way better in the healthcare than the current. Is it so? Is the opposition doing a whole lot better for the healthcare sector than the current administration?
I know I'm a politician, but this is something that we all should applaud, though, because take for example, right? Look at Jamaica right here, where we all most of us go there for vacation. It has the same population of Liberia.
Yeah,
guys,
we can do better.
I don't want for us.
So I applaud you for doing that. If all of us do that, Liberia will be better. Because now we see the government is not doing anything.
We all applaud you, Mr. Spahn. Let's get back to the conversation surrounding the Sona, because I know Bishop Hager has a lot of information on that conversation. But Bishop, go on. Let's hear from you.
But Bishop Hager already talked about the Sona, so why are you coming back to him?
No, I tell you.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, when good Liberians do good things in the country, we have to applaud them. Most of the time, most Liberians go to Liberia, or the people in Liberia themselves do a lot of work in the country, and nobody knows it. So when Madam Khan come here and show this kind of brand new clinic to us in Looking Town, you understand. I grew up in Looking Town. We used to go, in somebody's room to go take injection when really sick. No hospital to go to at that point in time. So this is huge for Low-income community. And we have to applaud this woman. She's even started helping the new government already, and she's not even higher in the government. So we have to commend what she did, and I applaud her. She and her family. This has nothing to do with a political party. This is she and her family establishment, and I'm very proud of her for that. And I just want to say that. Now we come to the SONA. For me, the SONA was vague. There was nothing substantial in that SONA for me. I was very disappointed. You know, President Parker did not stress on anything concerning Liberia relations, even with the international community, knowing that most of his people in the government has been sanctioned. He did not speak on how he was going to be able to relate to the outside world when it comes to that. We're looking to hearing that from him. That was not said. He skipped over the issue of the War and Economic Crimes Court. He had nothing to say about it, but in his first speech, the one that he fainted that he couldn't complete, I read the draft, and it was in that draft. But when he went to speak, you know, a few days after he got better, he did not mention that. I don't know whether Prince Johnson threatened him at that point in time. He decided that, you know what, I just gotta let it go. He did not say anything. And that was a it was not good for the Liberian people. I like to put it in the layman because I want the people in Liberia to understand that was not good for the country. So right there, it looked delusional. It was not a fair game to me when it came to that. I respect
Grace, I guess you are annoying Bishop Hager. Your comments are annoying Bishop Hager.
I don't care. I'm just here to speak the truth.
Man, David is just an instigator, man. Just let
I respect the president of the Republic of Liberia. I respect the office of the president of the Republic of Liberia. Yeah, give me a chance. Let me talk.
You see? That's why you are provoking a man, Medulla Oblongata.
You will sit on their platform, you will be talking. You notice that Councilor Kuma will never speak. Then you notice that you know we divide men from men. When a woman is talking, we are men don't talk, they listen. So yeah, please listen to me because when you were talking, I said, quiet. I did not say anything to anybody. Their speech to me was delusional. He never spoke about declaring his assets. We sat on the very platform here. The council on the platform told all he was supposed to declare his asset before he even sat in office. He did not mention none of that. So you come and you give the speech that you want to give for your party to be happy. But there was no, you know, the Frenchman said, je ne sais quoi. There was no movement to that speech. You know, when your president gave me a speech, when he said something, he said, yes, it's going to do something for the country. We had no feeling the speech was dead. It was just you know, when I that sound on the monitor when the person coming to data, it just went straight. We had nothing substantial in that speech. And I just
Grace, why were people applauding? Didn't you hear the applause when the president was speaking? Why were people applauding?
Because that's a regular thing for Liberians to do. They will applaud, they will blow home, they will do all of that. We have seen that before. So the speech for them, maybe they were enjoying the things I was saying in the speech, but I wasn't enjoying it. As Bobby said, he never spoke anything about the Zocos in the street, the plans for he had to even help those people out of the street. He never spoke about that. He did not speak. The only thing he spoke about was healthcare. He did not speak about the people in prison. He did not speak about the plans he had to create more prisons, because right now South Beach is packed, and that's why they're letting most of the criminals then be free, especially the people. Because I do advocacy for against or gender-based violence and for women's rights. And a lot of the perpetrators are in prison, and they're allowing them to go free because there is no place in the prison to keep them. He never stated none of those things. Honorable Baka, President Baka knows fully well about that country and the perpetrator and the high level of rapes that take place in our country. He never even spoke about that. He never spoke about the women and how he was going to uplift women in this society, being that women are always, you know, in the minority of everything. And he never spoke anything about that. So for me, the speech was very vague. I did not enjoy it. you know, and it was just like the same small little promise here and there. And most of the time, most time, you people are seeing were happy that he could even stand up that long to give the speech because they were afraid that he would even fall off again. Because you know, our president, he's old in the age, he old in age, not already well at the same time. So I
So
guess
Grace, are
very
you
happy for
suggesting that? Grace, are you suggesting that nothing in the speech that
How many
that
times do we
impressed
have
you at
left?
all?
nothing.
Let's
Because they keep on
let's
cutting me off. Nothing in the speech.
Grace, wasn't there anything in the speech that impressed you?
Mr. Tagbe, give me a chance now. The only thing in the speech that caught my heart was he talked about the health, you know, the healthcare system a little bit, but he never even went in for detail with it. So I was happy for that, but again, he never went in for detail with it. So you know, the only thing he talked about so much that everybody was happy about was taking drug tests. Drug tests are a regular thing that people take here when they go to job, they go to apply for job. And then one of the requirements to apply for the job is to do a drug test. So it's a normal thing. I don't think he should have included it in his speech. We don't care about that. We want you to declare your assets, sir. That's what we're looking forward to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now let's hear from all of the panelists before we start doing the follow-up questions. Councillor Freeman, can you give us your position on the SONA?
In full disclosure, I did not watch President Bouaga's State of the Nation's address. Didn't watch it. But it appears that the feedback is consistent. It was shallow. It did not address the nitty-gritty, the macro issues confronting Liberia. Now, what is more important to me, whether or not I listen to his speech, is about implementation. Look, you can draft all the legislation you want. You can have all the good laws on the books until you enforce those laws. You're going nowhere. So the speech may have been spectacular. The speech may have been a little bit shallow. What the Liberian people expect is for the president to begin the process of implementation. And I think there is one point that keeps coming to my mind, and that's the issue of the fact that to this date, President Bouaga has not yet declared his assets. To this date, I'm not even sure that any of his nominees have even declared their assets. We are on the precipice of another corrupt government if care is not taken. Until the Liberian people have a right to know what the elected officials are coming into office with so that they can hold them accountable. So it may have been a great speech. I don't know. I didn't listen to it. What is more important to me is the adherence to the rule of law. You can have all the speeches until you implement what you're saying you will do for the Liberian people. It means nothing. And he could start on day one by declaring his assets. Liberia's one of our greatest problems in that country is corruption. It is corruption. There's no secret about that. And so for Mr. Bouaga to be almost second week into office and still has not told the Liberian people what he owns and what he's coming to power with, and none of his officials have actually done that, even though the whole idea of declaring one asset in Liberia, I think it's a fiasco first and foremost, because you just go to the LLCC and you take a form and you list, I own this, I own that. There's no way people can really authenticate what people are putting on that paper. Is anyone actually bringing a bank statement to say this is how much I have in my account? Is anyone actually doing an assessment of the property to see how the property is actually worth? People are only listing things on paper, and we take it on face value. We're at the brink of another corrupt government if care is not taken. Joseph Bouaga, as president of Liberia, the people say he's one of our wisest, eldest person in the country. He has to lead by example. Declare your asset. Tell your officials of government, this is how we're going to govern the Liberian people. Transparency is going to be the hallmark of my administration. He hasn't done that yet. That is my concern.
Thank you.
They have started, so let's wait.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Let's hear from Mr. Sheriff.
Yeah,
thank you. Let's hear Mr. Sheriff.
Yeah, my sister said when the women are talking, the men should be quiet. So I'm trying to obey that. So hello, be quiet here.
And Derek, I hope you
Let's
give me a
hear from
little
you,
bit of
Mr.
time.
Terry. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a minute, 30 seconds, my guy.
Real quick. For me, I'm not a big fan of long speech or long speeches, right? We in a digital world, nobody got time to kind of read 10, 24 pamphlets. But as a serious nation and a government coming in place, as claimed by most of the campaigners at the time and now minister designates and government officials, they said they were the most experienced that are coming on the table to make changes. So how come then the most experienced one are now coming and giving us 30 minutes of speech that has to do with the entire nation, telling me, come on, man, I mean that my country is in distress, but you did not provide me a transcript on the website of the executive mansion for me to go and read what you're going to do to make my country come back to normal. If you tell me education, I understand that the president at the time, maybe he didn't have the strength to stand for 2 hours, 30 minutes, or 3 hours. I understand. But go to the website and give me explanation. Let me go to the executive mansion. Let me go to the president's office website. Let me see something. Let me read something so I can tell my other colleagues that I'm going to now talk to about my country. This is what my president intends to do. Now, fast forward. If the president now declares his assets, he's going to be following the lawmakers, like Senator Dillon, on serious lawmaker like that. All right, because Senator Dillon already declared his assets and left the president behind. Borchard same way, left the president behind. This same president that say he got 40 some more experience in governance, that he, in fact, on the first day when he went to Nigeria, if you guys can recall 2020, I don't know, I stand to be corrected on the year, but when the president went to Nigeria, they hired him on a show. He made it clear that his agenda, in order to make Liberia get back on the right track, is to fight corruption. And on the first day before taking office, he was going to declare asset and implement all of or subject all of his officials to declare the asset. How come the president now behind that statement? How come can he fall now? And you want to tell me, say, we are heading for a Syria, or maybe the president is doing something. Somebody say, oh, he got a nice speech. I'm not looking at the speeches. I'm like exactly the counselor said, the implementation of what you wrote on that paper or telling me. Now, the president, the most experienced man in the entire Liberia. Liberians elected him because they said, or he said he's the most experienced. How come can he be now walking on a snail pace when it comes to appointing officials? How come? So you want to tell me that 2 months? 2 months. I come here. I want to land on this.
10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 months after being elected as president, you want to tell me that the president went to sleep? The president could not make sure and make all of the cabinet, identify a cabinet, minister properly to be named for confirmation. So now Liberia is operating like somebody mind and pa die. So most of the ministries are working without serious ministry like foreign affairs. Today we still fighting. The House of Representatives, Senate telling me or telling us that because of security reason why they couldn't confirm today. Are you telling me? Are you kidding me? So I'm going to
thank you.
I'm going to end with this quickly. I'm just going to end with this.
We'll come back. Let me
I agree with Mr. Freeman, Councilor Freeman, by saying that this government, we are heading to another failed and corrupt government. That is it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Crawford, let me give you a minute. You have it.
My sister Ajay enjoying. She said, "Let it be so now."
Yeah, let me give you a minute. I'll come back to Bishop Hagan.
Absolutely.
I have to.
1 minute. You said a minute, 5 minutes.
I know. It is.
Go ahead.
It is human nature, especially in this political space. I mean, to get your default posture on when they talk about somebody of your liking, like in this case, your political figure or somebody you voted for. I understand that. But we should have a general consensus when we see wrong in society. There shouldn't be if and but about it, especially if we want to be good steward of the mineral resources that have been given to us. We know that the George Weah-led government, there are a lot of things that they did wrong that we all frown upon. As a consequence of that, the people elected Mr. Boakai. They added a statement to rescue this country. So when we see these missteps with asset declaration, which the land councilor just talked about, it's not even up to date because people are just fictitiously putting in an amount. The test for declaring an asset is not up there on par with other Western countries that are serious about fighting crime, malfeasance, and other financial impropriety. We get that. That the president cannot even meet these basic requirements to govern the country is troubling. And there should be no argument about that. There should be a consensus that is wrong. His supporters should be able to talk to him to sway him in that direction to declare his assets. It's simple. Another thing that's worrisome for me has to do with the fact that he got inaugurated last week and he's still a rehab resident. And to compound the issue, the government is paying $1,000 a day for that place, his residence that he's living in, because that's the space he's working from. That's not managing the resources of the country. It's wrong. It's wrong, my dear. George Weah, at least when George Weah we used to hear siren blowing, but this time we don't even hear it. The rehab role has become the new executive mansion.
Thank you.
And he criticized that too as well.
There are structural changes being done in the rehab house, and it's wrong. Look, my people, we're seeing this thing broad day. Like we can't keep, but it's wrong. We love Joseph Boakai, but you're not pushing in the right direction. Let him do the right thing. Instead of coming on this show, well, what a bishop does, he engages in hyperbolic and yelling, oh, we were no. And we see these things. It's wrong.
Thank you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Let's not hear from Bishop Haggard. You heard a lot of the comments made by some of the panelists here. But one thing I would like to draw your attention to is what Councillor Freeman made reference to. He said, "What it looks like we are on the brink of another corrupt administration," and in reference to the president not addressing or not declaring his assets, and amongst other things, he called it the war on drugs, or he made out a national crisis and even pledged to get drugs tested. But he hasn't said anything about declaring his asset as of this date. Like all of the panelists have said, he hasn't declared his assets. So I'll give you an opportunity to respond to some of the panelists, and you can give us your position on that as well.
Thank you very much. We come on this land to really help our people. We are entitled to our opinion, but we are not entitled to our own facts. Facts are different. I want everyone to know you cannot judge any government based on 2 weeks. It's just not, it doesn't make any sense. So 2 weeks into running the affair of the nation is just not enough time to judge anybody. The corruption will be handled. The asset declaration will be handled. Rest assured, there are people, there are lawyers, there are procedures that need to be followed. The second thing that I want to talk to, David must be on the line. And I want every one of you to compare 2 weeks into George Weah presidency, 2 weeks into Ellen Johnson presidency, how many ministers and cabinet ministers were named at 2 weeks after they came into power, compared to the nominations and the cabinet minister that Joseph Newman Boakai have appointed. Compare whether Joseph Newman Boakai is slow, whether he's deficient, or he's not doing the job. Let's go to the record. Let's go back, get the record. At 2 weeks into his presidency, how many people George Weah have named How many people Ellen Johnson Terry have named? Listen. We need to be very honest with ourselves. We come here and make political statement. We even win 1% of the Liberian people. Those are elected of the Joseph Human Bwaga. They are the majority. Even in the Senate, among the legislative oppositions, those who had the information, when the president gave the speech, they generally asked them. They all said it was a wonderful speech. It was credible. It was wonderful. You come here, you don't even understand the metrics of what happened in Liberia. You come and condemn 2 weeks. Let me tell you, man, we are on par. We're not going to be distracted. This government is one of the best, and Liberia will see the dividend of the proper leadership of Joseph Human Bwaga. Trust me. That's what I got to say. You can't come and look. People come here and just saying things in the air as though they have facts. You can make a political statement. It's up to you. But we are there to help the Liberian people. The president addressed everything that have to do with how the nation going to go forward. We're not going to wait for less than 1% of people who can tell us what to do. We want the mandate. We have the power to help the majority. Everybody included, but we must take the nation to the next level. We're not going to be allowed to be distracted by people who the Liberian people have rejected you. Just take your pain and enjoy it. That's all I can say tonight.
Thank you, Bishop Hager. I have a question. I have a question for you, Bishop Hager, because I don't think you've addressed that. On the asset declaration, you said there are processes that needs to be followed, and also to the comment Bobby made that Bobby and Mr. Sheriff, the president still run the government from his home. Is there also a process that needs to be followed for him to go to the executive mansion? And I think President Weah during his time went to the executive mansion in the first week of his tenure. So can you respond to that, more especially on the asset declaration? You specifically, or even made a commitment that the president will declare his asset before day one. It's 2 weeks now, and you're saying it's too early for us to be judging on that. So I will give you another minute or so you can address that. So you talk about the process. If you can elaborate on that, we appreciate it.
Will declare his asset. He will live by what he said. It's going to happen. 2 weeks for me. I will hope that at this time the asset declaration is done. Let's put it behind us. Let those journalists, the serious investigative journalists, go and investigate whether the asset that was declared is accurate, is authentic. You know, we can make political statement here. We can declare assets as if really authentic. So we have to follow the processes to make sure that everything is captured in the asset declaration. So watch and see. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It got to take time. We don't want to make asset declaration here. Then everybody come out, oh la la. Let it capture everything. That's what the president working on.
Thank you. What about him running an office from his home? You haven't talked about that.
The executive mansion.
And also lying that he met 20 million and 40 million.
Well, I don't know where Bobby Michel get his information that the government is spending $1,000. Maybe he got it from something. It's up to him. I don't know anything, but that is why he never went to a new home. That is where
I want to ask the Reverend, please.
For 50 years. That's what he been all through. That hard for him. It's not something
answer
new.
The question. They say, why is he running Bishop? Yes, here's the thing here, Bishop.
I want to ask.
I really wish that this conversation, you come here, you engage in the hyperbolic, the yelling. We got to have some emotional intelligence, to be honest, because something are glaring. The last time I checked, 0.11% of the whatever voting place you want to pull Liberians, they are still Liberians, and their voices need to be heard. You will be the last person to preach divisive politics. You and I know very much that the United Party-led government, they don't have a mandate. They won by the slimmest of margin, less than 20,000 votes. That's not a mandate. The country is polarized. And you of all persons should be the one preaching unity. Whatever opportunity you get, every opportunity you get.
Megan, I interrupt you when you were talking.
You are not credible. You are not credible.
Gary, I just want to ask the people one question.
Mr. Sheriff, Mr. Sherry
same
and Bobby,
same
hold on.
mandate.
Bishop
Yeah,
Hagar, Bishop
mandate
Hagar,
or no mandate.
Bishop
That's
Hagar,
it.
Bishop Hagar, Bishop Hagar. I will give you just enough time for you to make your point. But if the other panelists making the point, I will kindly ask if you can just protect them until they're done. If you want to rebut, I will give you the opportunity to do so. Let's go back to Bobby. Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, I want him to continue. So what I was saying in essence is he should be the last person preaching divisive politics, marginalizing or making whoever voted 1%, 2% irrelevant. The country is polarized, Bishop. If you don't know that, the last time I checked, Mr. Barker doesn't have a mandate. When we come on these shows, of course, you don't expect me to be in sympathy with Mr. Barker because I believe he wasn't the right person for the job. It is your responsibility to convince me, but you're not doing that. You speak as if you are part of the government, and it's embarrassing. Few weeks ago on this show, you said with 100% certainty, Mr. Boakai is going to declare his asset, and now you're punching the ball. We ask you punching questions. Why is Mr. Boakai operating his office from his home? You just, oh, no. It is wrong, my dear. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You're supposed to go to work. You should join me to say, yeah, it's wrong. We're not paying you. In this country, you work, you get PTO, personal time off. You will not sit at home except depending on the nature of your job, you work from home. But the last time I checked, the president calls for you being at the executive mansion or the foreign ministry. And he's not doing that. It's wrong. They shouldn't be political. That is the reason why the Liberia, it is what it is. We sympathize with our own devil because we like them. Even when they're doing wrong, we'll still support them. And I'm not built like that, my dear. I'd rather stand on something than fall for everything. I pause now and give my fellow panelists chance.
Yes. Let's hear from Mr. Sheriff. Mr. Sheriff, go ahead.
Yeah, please. You see, the bishop is missing something, and I agree with Bobby. You know, Liberia, the thing about Liberia is it's not individual stuff we're doing here. We want our country to move forward. It is just sad that we have to keep repeating ourselves every time and let politicians to play with our intelligence. Like we have nothing. We don't even know what actually happening. The president is classified as the most experienced politician in that country. That is why Kumi was denigrated. That is why other people were denigrated. People were insulted just because they may, excuse me, sorry. We're not in a campaign mode anymore. The president to have a chance to change the country. Now the president get a chance. Just in 2 weeks, you guys giving excuses on serious discussions when it comes to giving the public or telling the public what you have. The president, remember the president said he was living on loans. And we heard a whole lot, and people kept coming on the comment section talking about, oh, the people, we got 30 days. It's okay. You got 30 days to declare your assets. But hey, the president must lead by example. What the president do, that is what everybody will do in that country. The president has not yet declared his asset. And we're talking about, oh, like you can't judge the country. No, there's nothing about judging here. The president, again, criticized the previous leadership for working home. At least we used to see the mayor going to the foreign affairs. But since the president took office 2 weeks now, he's still working he's working from home. And that is okay. Now we hear again justifying that. Also, the president on the oath said, I think nobody have mentioned that yet, said President Weah lied by telling the country that he left $40 million in the consolidated account. Today, that has come to light that the president on an oath was merrymaking. Because I will not want to say he lied. So what are you telling me? In fact, the United Party that the president ran on cannot even discipline those United partisans that misapply the
Thank you.
300 and something million dollars. I mean, $100,000.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff.
So you won't come tell us that we hate the president. Look, just employ us employs us for holding this president feet to the fire, because again, it will help this president to succeed. If we don't call the president, for me, I love giving people chances. I give you the chances, but again, why I'm giving you a chance, if you start making mistakes, I will start correcting it. I will not say, oh, you're that way. Saying we put a man there, oh, you're not getting chance to continue the country the way it's going. No, we will continue to call into order respectfully.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff. Bishop Hagar, before you say that, let me ask you this question, and then you can say what you have to say, or after you say what you have to say. Now, I know how critical you were on the previous administration, and I know how much you put Liberia first in your advocacy. Now, I'll give you the hypothetical. If this was a different administration, let's say if this was President George Manuel Weah administration, in his first 2 weeks, he's running the country remotely. He hasn't declared his asset, even though the law calls for him to do so on day one. Would this have been your position on these things happening if it were another administration?
Well, thank you very much. On the asset declaration, I think in terms of the law, in terms of the implementation, there are two different information we're getting. I'm learning that the LDCC boss said that they have 30 days to comply. So let's wait in 30 days. Everything's supposed to be straightened up. So we shouldn't be here and really try to be political here. Listening to those who have all of the requisite information, how this is supposed to be implemented. They are saying something different. What we read in the law, they short. But now the LDCC boss is saying in 30 days, they're supposed to be, if they get in that grace period, they still have period on which they can still do the asset declaration. I'm saying to us, President Joseph Yuma Boag is a man of integrity. He's going to declare his asset, and it's going to be done. And everybody will be able to verify. It will not just be something written on paper. It's something that you can go and check it up. The second point that I want to make is about running the country from his house. I do not think it's not causing any additional expenses on the Liberian government. Now, we know it took years for the executive mansion to be renovated and all those kind of things. The president will go to the executive mansion, I guarantee you. Running the office from the house, I can't comment on that. There must be imperative, something that causes him to still be at the house. Maybe the executive mansion is not yet totally ready for him, and he will go there. So I just want to stop there. We should not try to make issue out of nothing. He's running the country from the house. He's running perfectly, no problem. What is the problem here now? Why are you complaining? It's going to happen.
Bishop Hagar, the problem here is that you are the same person that sat on the platform before the elections, and you have problem with President Weah running the country from his house. So how now that because it's your own person in the chair that you see that is not wrong for it to happen? Besides, if the president is staying home to run the country from his home, the public needs to know. It's the Liberian people right to know. You can say you don't know and this and that. We need information.
Why?
We need information. The press supposed to be all here. The press secretary is supposed to be all here, letting us know by day on a regular basis. Why is President Boakai stay at home, running the office from his home? So you cannot come and say that this is not for politics for us. This is about Liberia. It could be for politics for you. But when we come here, it's not about politics for us. We want to see a change in our nation. Remember our generation? We suffered the most in everything Liberia went through. We went through the war. We were young children. We came to different countries. We have not seen Liberia progress since we came out of Liberia, and we've been going back and forth. So if a president is voted into power that the people say we're going to bring change to this nation and things like this happening, we have concern. The government has started proceeding very strangely. the first day of the work. Yes, they are proceeding very strangely. I don't want to say they are proceeding wrong. They are, but I will tell you strangely because right now, most of the Liberian population are very confused on how this person is proceeding. The man promised us he was going to declare his asset on the first day. These are recordings that we have, sir. We have recordings here about database saving them. Everything that Joseph Walker spoke about. He even said that he was not going to even hire his family members. We have that recording too. I share my Facebook page. And we see a lot of his nephews then being hired in government. So you can't come and say this is politics. This is not politics for us. We are not politicians. I'm not a politician here. I'm an advocate for women's rights and sexual gender-based violence. So when I come here, because of Liberia. So it's wrong for you to say this and you sit on the platform and say, oh, we should just say we don't know why, but we should just accept it. No, we don't want to accept it. That's the reason why in the election, the Liberian people have options. They choose this man and they want to make sure that he proceeds in the right direction. Right now, the direction he's proceeding in is not good for the Liberian people, and that's all we are saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop Hager. Let's hear from Mr. Span. Let's go back to the SONA. On the SONA, you heard some of our panelists' comments. Some of them think it was vague, it was shadow. And
that's
Bishop Hager, I will come back to you. Let me ask Mr. Span my question. Can you hear me, Mr. Span?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes, so some of our panelists reacted to the SONA, and they said that they think that the speech was fake, shadow, and the president left and he didn't talk about Liberia relations or international relations or sanctions. He didn't say anything about the War and Economic Crimes Court. And like Councilor Freeman mentioned, he feels like since the president hasn't declared his assets, he feels like this is most likely we are watching the brink of another corrupt administration. So I want you to react to those comments and opposition on the president's SONA.
Okay, I won't want to conclude that this government is going to be. I don't want to preempt what the government is going to be. This government will have to prove itself. First and foremost, elections are over. We have a president. He has spoken. I didn't listen to the entire speech. Let me admit that first. So I won't want to, jump into anything that I didn't hear. But listening to all of you, I know normally after the president takes office, there's 100 days deliverable. That is what I'm waiting to hear. I don't know whether that was mentioned during the speech. So whatever is being said is what I'm going to hold the president accountable for. I don't want to be very fast in concluding. I hold the president in high esteem, and it's my prayer. Let me give my own piece of advice to a couple of what I heard. The issue on the drug. We all know President Walker is not a drug addict. He hasn't taken drug anywhere, but he's trying to set a precedent. But my piece of advice would be, look, we have ghettos and prostitution camps attached to them because when you take the drug, you prostitute and all of that. The abuse of women and all of that. So my piece of advice would be to add to what he has said, build camps. We must encamp these children. We must encamp them. I've been involved in getting kids out of the ghetto. I still associate with them, still try to help them. That has been my life forever. And I think we need to give our pieces of advice in the process. When we give these pieces of advice and we don't get any result, then we make our point even strong. It make our point even stronger to go to the extent of saying, okay, now we can, do whatever. I know normally in Liberia, everybody will say, oh, the president is good, but the people around him. I think the president is old enough to use his own mind and will to do what is right. So from my own side, I wanted to give my piece of advice. We should make sure that these guys are in camp. If we are going to have the Liberia that we envisage, let me tell you, 5-10 years from now, the president got 6 years, additional 4 years, we'll not have a country. If we have these ghetto guys, we call them Zokos, we will all run this country. The armed robbery, maybe we haven't heard much about it, but they still steal from us every day. They are still killing people. It's a hard thing when you live in a country, excuse me, where you have almost 70% of your young people, even in schools. We run one of the very good schools on this Bushra Island, if not the best. Okay, we stay in school till 4 o'clock. The reason why we keep our kids in school till 4 is because they have all these super Fridays and super this. And strangely, let me tell you one simple story. Do you not know even our Coast Guard base, where we have the Army, we used to call Army base, on Friday, students go to those places. They got a swimming pool that they get into the pool, they are smoking, they are drinking. I went to raid them once upon a time. There's something I did last year. And with the military people there, it's totally embarrassing. The drug issue in this country will overlook it. It's very, very serious. And people will continue to be corrupt because they will have to exploit government to support the habit. We got the clean Zocos and we got the dirty Zocos. The clean ones are the ones who are in power and doing it and taking the money to support the habit. And the dirty ones are the ones who don't have the opportunity, so they have to rob both the clean ones and those who are not doing drugs. So the drug issue is very serious. So that the point of just taking the test is just the minute part of it. The key and important part of this thing, my fellow colleagues and brothers and sisters, we must encamp these people. We must find the means, ways, and opportunity to build camps. We got better yalla. We can go back there and put camps. We can open training institutions there and make sure that this thing is not 2 weeks and not 1 month, and not 1 year. One of my oldest in-law, he turning 60 this year. We just talking from the rehabilitation, and he was like, you have been so patient with me. This is a man who left my house on 2-3 occasions. But when they have it gets to you, you can leave your beautiful bed, your beautiful home, and you are out there. The issue of drug is so serious. So to add to that, my piece of advice to the president is that they should build camps, encamp these people, give them skills training program. I didn't listen to all the speech. I don't want to be fast to criticize or condemn anything, but I want to let the president know our expectations. Our expectations are very high, and we expect so much of the government. And we pray and hope that those that are around the president should give, the kind of advice that will lead him. If it is said that, the president is operating his office from his home, if I were one of the partisans or one of his supporters, I would say, Mr. President, I think it's about time that you go to your office and so on and so forth. But if we come and defend all of that to say, nothing wrong with it or so, I don't think that would be the right thing. The president needs to listen to the critics, to his critics, because there are some people that are around you that will make things to look good, but your critics would say things that you can learn from. Your enemies always have something to say about you that will help you, and don't necessarily take them to just be the bad people. So we as Liberians, and especially those who are close to the president or kitchen, they must be able to give pieces of advice that will lead this president, that will guide him, that will help to protect him in the image of our country. Because I tell you, like I said, if we try to go the government and president down, all are going to remain down. So that's why you see some people everybody's different. Some people be so vocal, some people are going to start woo. Some people watching to see the 100 days. President, we are getting a 2-hour speech and we saw nothing. He said we're not the spectators of our economy, or we're commentators. Everybody have megaphone, right? Or many lose that many change your money, Harry. We're commentators. So we have to be careful on how we start this thing and not trying to, raise praises for the president when we see small errors. Let's try to correct the wrong so that our country can go forward. People are tired. Many of you who live in the diaspora, you won't come home. People want to come home. What on earth, on planet Earth, are you coming to? So it's our desire that we all give our pieces of advice and see how it goes. If it doesn't work, obviously, if people start to talk, give pieces of advice and it doesn't work, people go, wow. The reason why you see all the issue of war crime code, culture, is because when people don't get redress to things, they take the law in their hand. And you sometimes don't blame them. It's just like I tell people, there is no power to in Liberia because everybody wants courage. But unfortunately, you can run to LEC and your shoes change. It change color, change heat. You will never get it. So it's about time that each and every one of us to put strength to this thing. Those who can be vocal will be. Those who can be calm will be. But at the end of the day, we expect the president to deliver to the Republic of Liberia and to the Liberian people. That's my own piece of
Yeah, I
advice.
just wanted to thank you so much, Mrs. Grace. Can I say something quickly?
Go ahead, Bishop Vega.
Yes,
Well,
you can.
she's saying something very, very important to every one of us Liberians. You know, all of us here saw before the
Bishop Vega,
inauguration.
can you keep it under 1 minute? Because I have to go
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna keep it
customer.
on a 1 minute. We all here saw how the executive mansion was in dilapidated state. They literally have to go to clean up that place. I'm not defending the president will go there, that is official home. But I'm just thinking that if we really want to be honest, I truly believe it's not time for to talk about why the president have not gone there yet. At least in 3 months, it's why the president still home. I believe that the GSA is working on making sure that everything
No,
gets
no, no.
ready for the
I would
president. And I
disagree
blame
with you on that. I would disagree with you on that point. If the president is operating from his house, it should be your advice, especially as a pastor, to say, look, Mr. President, the mansion is where is your
Forget the
is a
mansion.
seat
What
of
about the
authority.
foreign
This is where
ministry?
I think
Where
John
Obama used to go?
moved there before. John moved there before he left the presidency. So if
Let's allow
there's anything to be done, let's make sure the mansion is prepared. The president goes there.
let's
Let
allow
the veteran state people prepare the mansion and prepare at the president can go there if he's home.
the point taken. The point nobody
We should
now
give
we
an
all
excuse
know
on
that
that one.
is official seat of the president of Liberia, and he have to go there. How soon he gonna get there? I'm gonna leave that with those around. I believe they are listening. The second thing is that we should not be politicizing everything. I'm aware that we want change to take place, but my friend and brother Bobby Michelle Crawford, he have never, and watch my word, Mrs. Kwan, who will be here. He will never say one good thing. Mrs. Grace will never say one thing. Everything they will look for the bad side. We can't continue to live as a nation like that. It's a crime mentality because you did not win your presidential candidate did not win. So every other thing is bad. I don't think that's what we're going to do. There was time when I was totally against George Weah, but at least I said something good about him.
What exactly was that?
The sport, the park that he built around
The-
town
the-
was a wonderful thing.
Let's come to you, Councilor Freeman.
Let me just say this. Let me just say, Liberians need to learn this. Even all through political campaigns and rallies, we realize people say, oh, the president did, was it the president's personal money? I am a taxpayer. Every coupon we buy, every water bill we pay, every stuff, anything we do in this country, we pay money. We got road fund. Even for the gasoline and stuff, we pay their taxes. You see the GST. So when those people do that, we're supposed to say, yes, my money is working. But we hear the president like, that's the president's right to do it because that's our money that made them to do it. So if you hear president, we have a few football fee. Other people play football in other countries, and at the end of the day, we saw what they did. You only be trying to pay football fee and became president with our taxpayer money. Come on, that one there, don't hear.
Thank you, Councilor Freeman. Let me come to you now. I think Bishop Vega is making a point here. He's saying 2 weeks is too early to be judging the government or anything, or whether the president working from his home or he hasn't declared his asset or he didn't mention anything about the War Economic Crimes Court in his SONA. He's saying we should at least give the administration the benefit of the doubt because 2 weeks is way too early. So let me get your response. Let me get your position or reaction to that.
Maybe there are prevailing circumstances for which we all might be inclined to give the president some leverage. I'm not in the position to engage in supposition, but I suspect there might be reason why he might want some leverage, and perhaps we should give it to him. But let me address the issue of the asset declaration. This is very important to me. Here's why: because corruption is endemic in Liberia. I met with President Bouaga before he became President Bouaga. I met with him in his house, and we're sitting across from me at 9:30 p.m. with top of his officials. And I asked him a very pertinent question. Mr. Bouaga, would you hold corrupt leaders accountable when elected president, if and when you're elected? And he told me, yes, he would. And so that's the main reason the issue of asset declaration is important. It should not just be some sort of saying, it should be a demonstrable act, something we must all encourage, we must all ask him to do it, because if he does it, his official follows suit. And to your point, Bishop Hagar, I hold in front of me here the LSCC website. You know, I'm a man of law. I like to verify things. There is nothing on this website that said the president has 30 days. LSCC clearly states here when to declare assets. It said he shall, in addition, declare his assets, income, prior to taking office. There is no 30 days. And besides, even if LSCC put it on their website, the law trumps their policy. The statute trumps whatever policy LSCC or whatever approach they may have. But it is good to know that LSCC website basically articulates specifically the legal requirements. There are no but and if about it. It says you shall declare. And when I say shall, it means it is a mandate. It's not merely, if you want to do it. It's not merely permissible. It is a mandate. And the reason this is important because, as I said, the issue of corruption is one of the root causes to our problems in the country. And you have people coming into government and they're taking key government position. Look, if you are so eager to take a major government position, what's wrong with you just simply declaring your asset? I mean, what's wrong with you even providing? Look, let me tell you something. I'm a trial lawyer, right? When I file discovery, I'm asking that person to produce their bank statements, their tax documents, everything, their 401k. You want to be able to authenticate what the person is asserting. So first and foremost, the whole asset declaration thing, I think we need to do a better job. If people want to take the higher office in the country, minister, director, deputy, it's so simple to simply declare your assets so that the Liberian people know exactly what you have. That is the way we can curb corruption. The president has a fiduciary duty to ensure that happens. And we must all be good stewards of that. I think it is demonstrably wrong to essentially support everything simply because this person is our political leader. We're not doing him any good, because in the end, if he fails, we're all going to look back and say, but this man should have been the most clever person on the block. So it is incumbent on you, Bishop Hagar. It is incumbent on every Liberian to encourage President Bouaka to declare his assets so that he can in turn encourage his supporters and his appointees to declare their assets. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The same thing, Councillor. Maybe my difference is.
No, you're not saying the same thing.
I don't think
you're saying the same thing. You lie on LSCC about their website. You're saying the same thing. Really?
Asset declaration is important, very, very important. And I want to add on tonight whatever means we will use to make sure those who have the president here accelerate the process that everybody will give and declare their assets.
Derry, I beg you, man. Can't get it, Bishop.
Bishop Hagar, just to...
and let us also recommend to LACC, when no assets are declared, they should be published. There should be due diligence. Make sure that if I got one chicken, one hen, and 2 goats, let it be 1 hen and 2 goats. Because they declare the asset, we just remember people will finish. And tomorrow when someone else declare our asset was never published, when the time came, they thought we took something from government.
I'm just intrigued by the criteria that they learn or councilor just talk about that will make an asset declaration attractive, and it's not even there for Liberia. He alluded to the fact that he's a trial lawyer. He engages in discovery and looking for all the documentation to establish that this is what is really said that whoever he's representing say they had, or the opposing litigant, whatever it is. But it's not that case in Liberia. So the bare minimum we are asking our elected officials, they can't even meet that litmus test. It is a sad reality. You know, how can we continue down this road, especially when we come with that whole change mantra rescue? That's why I keep saying to people, and then they say insulting. Not all advice you can take from old people. Foolish people grow old too. And, you know, and it's it's just no, I'm not getting Bishop something to talk about.
Here's the thing though. I'll come back to you, Bishop. And because you keep pressing on this point, it's too early to call. Now the effect of the president not declaring his assets is, since he's not setting the example, his appointees are not even thinking about declaring the assets. Earlier this week, Amos West. You let me. I have a question for you. Let me finish. Earlier this week, Amos West showed the LPRC. He hasn't declared his asset or hasn't said anything.
The comments in down here is so funny. That's why I keep worrying my
he haven't said anything about declaring his assets. And you said something earlier about your stance against the previous administration of Bishop Hagan. We all know for all the time that you talk about we are administration, I don't remember anything positive. And now, since you accuse Mr. Crawford and Mrs. Grace of not saying anything positive about this government, can you now criticize this government on anything with all of these comments and around all of these allegations on this administration? Can you say anything about this that President Bouaga is kind of slacking off on in 2 weeks? Can you say anything to that?
Anyway, thank you very much. But let me let you know, I want everybody to know, when I was elected in 2017, even though I was not, I told everybody that I was incompetent. He never have the capacity to lead the country, but the Liberian people voted for him. I did not criticize him for the initial 2 years. I was waiting to see what he was going to do. My prayer was that he was going to learn very fast and try to at least learn to be a leader, but he failed. I did not. The first 2 years of I did not criticize him. So I'm using the same measuring line to say it's too early. Let's wait all over the world, not only in Liberia. You don't just criticize the government after two weeks. You allow at least the benchmark 100 days, then you can start looking at some of the areas and say, these people are going in the wrong direction. But we just from day one, the main inaugural speech, it became a problem. They come to the State of the Union 2 weeks into leadership, we're criticizing everything. I think it's been disingenuous. It's not fair. And let's wait and see how this government will go in the next 100 days. Then you have the right to criticize. Thank you.
Can I speak?
Go ahead, Mrs. Goya.
When we see the government proceeding wrong, so we have to start to talk quick. You know why? Because we come from another 6 years of nothing being right in Liberia. Let's just be fair. If you have a government coming in and the first day as they enter the inauguration was a flop, money started being missing with the people, the planners of the inauguration. There's money issue there. People saying the other person take 10,000. Some people say they get the other person 40,000. They stole it, and we don't see no investigation at all. The head of the inauguration planner, the head of the planning committee come on and make all kinds of statements and talk down to the Liberian people. Then the inauguration, the president had a little slight thing at the inauguration, so everything had to be stopped. Then we move for that. We move forward. The declaration of assets coming and supposed to happen and never happened. Few of the government officials that declare the asset, everything on the asset just look like is deceptive. 1 minute their horse was 48,000 when they had a horse. They did renovation on the horse. Before you load the horse, became 25,000. I don't know how a horse with renovation supposed to appreciate, but then it depreciates. So, and then they don't have no authentication to verify these things about these people asset that they declaring. So the only good thing they could do was just to even declare the asset, because the people not even verifying anything. And as Mrs. Pan said, they don't even open it up to the public. They don't even announce the asset declaration to the public. LSCC don't do it. So if the government start to proceed this way, it start to make people like us who felt that this government was not even worth it. This president is not even worth to be president of Liberia at this point in time. And remember, this man ran on the mantra that he was, he's serving government. He had 1,000 years of experience working in government. So we don't expect all kinds of things to be happening at this point in time. He knows what he's doing. That means he was vice president for 12 years. So we expect things to proceed in the right direction for our country. We have no time on our hand. We are not going to manage any expectation because our expectations are high. Our country is dying in our faces by the day. Liberia is sinking. So we are not going to wait for somebody who have experience and claim to be wise leading in this direction and things not going well. So we concerned. If we see something right with the government, we're going to say it and say, oh, this thing was done right and that thing was done right. But as far as we are concerned right now, from the get-go, as soon as the first day, the government has not been proceeding right. And they have people in the elections. They have other leaders there that could have done better. Like Brempo choose this particular government. So what they choose, we expect them to deliver. Liberia has been in a dream for 6 years. We are not going to wait any longer. As soon as Joseph Boakai step his foot in the morning, we are looking to see what he's going to do for the country and what he's going to accomplish for our people. Our people are suffering. Mrs. Pang said it. A lot of bad things going on in Liberia. We just sit there and we don't know what's going on. But a lot of things. My nephew just even told me tonight that he sleeps with 3 knives because of the armed robbery and the Zokos trying to, break in the area and they got killing people by the day. So he sleep. He doesn't even sleep. Somebody was just trying to enter, get in his room, and he pulled himself back. And the person, but he had a knife in his hand. How can people live like that? I mean, we in the 21st century. Other people living. I go to bed. I don't even think about those kind of things. It broke my heart to hear that. So we have to put the government feet to the fire, and that's just what we're saying. And that's just the truth.
Thank you, Mrs. Goa, and thanks to all of you panelists for your contribution. But it's now time that we take a break, and we'll come back. We will ask you guys for your closing remark on this episode, and then we'll draw the curtain to this episode. But for now, let's take a break, and we will see you guys after the break.
Attention all organizations, NGOs, and social clubs in and out of Liberia. Are you tired of relying solely on social media to run your operations? An effective web platform is your most important marketing tool, and that's where Tiamet.com comes in. Hello, my Liberian people. My name is Sophia, and I want you to consider this. 53% of consumers do online research about an organization before talking to someone from that institution. That means not having a website could be costing you opportunities. Step up your game and establish a professional online presence. Introducing our web platform, designed specifically for 501c organizations, small businesses, and political organizations, social clubs, etc. At Tiamet.com, we understand how important it is to make a great digital first impression, which is why we offer you all the help needed to develop, maintain, and host NGOs and small and big organization websites by giving you a full suite of services that includes automatic billing for members, membership and visitor portals, first-class design and functionality, and much more. The best part is, it only costs $20 per month. Upgrade your image today with our customized web design services. Visit www.tiamet.com to get started. This is a Liberian-owned business.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us this far on episode 4, season 5 of the Horizon. We are at the very end of the show, and it's time that we just get our panelists' closing remark, and then we will draw the curtain to the episode. If you've been with us, we have a very good discussions on the issues surrounding Liberia politics. We talk about the issue with the establishment of the War Crimes Court that were called by Maggie County Senator Nathaniel McGill. And we also talk about issues surrounding the President First State of the Union address. And now it's time that we get our panelists' final say on this episode. And then enjoy this curtain to see you guys next Thursday. If you're with us, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. You're watching The Horizon. Here I'm your host. I'm Derek Yale. But for now, guys, let's go to Bobby Mitchell Crawford so we can hear from him for his final words on this episode. And because we are running out of time, we're supposed to be out of here by 11. So we'll give you a minute.
I just want to make it short, quick. Yeah, Derek, thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure. You're an excellent moderator. I love, the way you do the moderation. Bishop, you always be my bishop, even though we always are logo here. And my dear sister who built that video. Let me put my spectacle on so I can get the name right. We got two Grace here. My esteemed sisters, what all you do for Liberia from the deep recesses of my heart, thank you so much. When we come on this platform, or on this platform to be specific, and we engage in the advocacy, is for the betterment of our country. My mother was a market woman, and I saw firsthand the kind of suffering she went through to raise me and my siblings. So in my spare time, I watch YouTube videos about Liberia, and I see the market women sitting so sad on the sidewalk selling their market. It brings tears to my eyes, to be honest. It is my hope that politicians can really look at these suffering masses and try to change their story. For too long, the people of Liberia have suffered. I mean, we are over 178 years old, and we don't have basic healthcare delivery, effective healthcare delivery system in the country. The government, Liberia is not poor. I keep saying it is just poorly managed. It has nothing to do with politics. And it's sad in my heart that we see the wrong in the society, we see the ills, and we still defending wrongs. We are the one that's supposed to be holding these people, elected officials to their feet. And I'm happy that Joseph Boakai, he put somebody as Senate mayor, that the gentleman I know he's going to do the job, and I applaud him for that. I hope one of his first projects will be to close the Sunny Wen that is beyond Rallytown Market. Liberia is the only city, Monrovia rather, that has an open sewer. So if you open a sewer like that, they're going to dump trash in it. Clean up Sunny Wen and cover the whole thing. The Japanese freeway, just common sense. It's an open whatever for drainage. Put guardrails and close it up. Those are just some low-hanging fruits that we all can do to make our city clean. That's not being criticizing the government. It's constructive suggestion, and I'm hoping the new city mayor of both Painesville and Monrovia can see wisdom and do that. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Bobby. Thank you for your contribution as always here on the Horizon. Let's hear from you, Mrs. Grace and Quad.
Well, I would like to thank you for having me, and I would also like to thank Mrs. Pong for coming on, and I also like to continue to appreciate her for that clinic in Lookingtown where I grew up. I'm really happy that she put that clinic there, and I know my Lookingtown people will benefit. And I would also like to thank the production team for having me on this platform. I want to say that our love for Liberia is deeper than our love for an individual. When you see us come here and even try to support our political leader, is because of the love of country and because we believe in that person will do the right thing. It's not so much about politics for some of us. And I'm praying for this government. I want this government to succeed, because when this government succeeds, it means that Liberians have succeeded. Us living in the diaspora, sometimes it's a disgrace for us to see our country go through what it's going through. And we are praying that Mr. Boakai do the right thing, and the promise that he made to the nation, he delivered his promises. That's all we are saying. I hope that I see him, he appointed a lot of people at the gender ministry, and that's the area that I'm most interested in. I hope that they deliver, because they have too many deputy ministers and ministers in our one ministry. So I know what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to really put their foot down when it comes to the rape epidemic in the country. So maybe that's why he have a lot of people there. I hope they do the due diligence for the nation because too many of our children have suffered rape and molestation, and nothing was done about it in the last 6 years. So I'm looking forward to them doing good work when it comes to that. I expected him to say in his speech, but it was not mentioned at all. But I want to hope and pray that the government do the right thing for the Liberian people, and that one day Liberia will be a great nation. One day that we all will sit and be proud, and even some of us will retire and go back home and serve in any way to help our nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Quart, for your contribution here as always. Let's hear from you now, Bishop Hager.
Well, thank you to all the panelists, Mrs. Brown. Thank you for all your wonderful work. Listen, Liberians, wherever you are, you never made mistake to elect Joseph Yuma Boakai. President Boakai is one of the most person of integrity. He will never disappoint you. You know, our country is a country that is facing a lot of challenges. In addition, every Liberian think they know everything. And people come and make their opinion. You are entitled to your opinion. That is what democracy is all about. But you are not entitled to your own facts. You can't create your own fact and believe it. Let's leave it with those who have the relevant information and let the fact speak for itself. If Joseph Yuma Boakai lied, it will be clear, it will be visible. He said to us, he's going to live by example. I will hold him personally responsible. Every little thing is politicized. Somebody make a small statement, they run with it. Let's look at the bigger picture. It's a man who he got nothing to take from Liberia. He just came to help Liberia, to make Liberia better. We are in the right place, and Liberia will move forward and get better under Joseph Yuma Boakai. Our prayers are with Joseph Yuma Boakai. Like all the opposition senators and representatives said after the State of the Union address, they are now Unity Party. They all applauded and said the speech was really, really good. For me, those who were there, those who understand the issue said it was good. I say it was good. I respect the presidency and I honor it. The other thing you found problem with, that's up to you. But we are moving somewhere, and God bless the nation and say this. They will love you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hager. My only comment would be, y'all shouldn't be like sedition. It seems like you're still in campaign mode. What you will spend your entire 6 years in campaign mode. Well, that's my only comment. But thank you very much for your contribution here. Every episode, every Thursday. I appreciate that of you. And now let's go over to our special guest, Mistress Grace T. Pan. Thank you again for appearing here today and serving as our special guest. And also, I would like to join Mrs. Goa and Bishop Hager and Bobby Mitchell cover to appreciate you for the work you're doing in Lokinta. And now I'd like to give you the opportunity to close on this episode.
Okay, let me say thanks to the panelists and to all of you for affording me the opportunity to be on this show. I appreciate your work, especially right now in our country where we have had a new president. And not to divert from what I'm saying, campaign is over. There's no time to campaign for anybody. It's time for us to pray, work hard, and make sure this government works. And to be frank with you, we don't want another 6 years of perils, torture and hardship and all of that. So nobody wants to see this government fail, like Grace said. Nobody wants to see this government fail. We all want to see the government work. Like President Boakai always say, I think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. We believe we want to hold him to that. And Liberia will be built under his administration. I remember one last president was President William R. Tauber, who I admire so much. Always said, I'll build your great nation. And leadership is not Liberia. Leaders for Liberia is not a problem. Our problem is leadership. So we pray that since he the captain on this ship, that he will lead it to higher heights and deeper depths. And I listened to him at his birthday celebration that he said, I will not disappoint Liberians. I want to hold him strongly to that and believe that with God above, we all prevail. One last recommendation to maybe either the lawmakers or the LACC, whoever responsible, I'm not a legal person, that maybe there should be a law that will state before a person is either inaugurated or before the person takes office or confirmation, they should declare the assets. I think that will help people to do it even faster because they want a position, they want to sit behind that desk, those assets will be declared. So let me say thanks to all of you. We'll do our best we can. We actually have at least 5 schools, one free, one in Bond County. I'm not from Bond County. We run a free school in Bond County, 100% free, including books and up to graduation. So we want to say that God has been with us. He has blessed us. He has helped us. And surprisingly, people wonder, how do we do this? We have a national gathering. We all contribute as Liberians, strictly Liberians. It's done strictly by Liberians, and God has helped us. Our church, our ministry, we have been catering to Liberians. We will not stop doing it. We won't give up on it. But we want a government that will support and buttress the effort of each and everyone else. So let me say thanks to all of you, and we hope we will not be campaigning, consistently. Campaign is over. It's time to work. Maybe if anyone else would have been present, we have done a short speech. It's time for work and order, and that will, preclude everything, because this country needs to be well structured. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
When I come to Liberia, I will see you, Mrs. Grace Pan. We have school and churches in Liberia as well, in Johnsonville, Kakata, Atlanta, and in Marshall, where we're building our headquarters right now. We are working hard.
We are in 11 of the 50 churches, so we have at least 50 churches.
That's good. Congratulations. Yeah.
So thank you.
When the church get it right, Liberia, the nation will get it right. That's my operational principle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Squire and Mr. Span, for serving as our special guest tonight.
So again, I just say that always, it's sometimes when people make criticism, we should, take the good out of it and say, look, this is what I heard. I think we can go this direction. But if we try to counter it, sometimes like, we don't realize we are out of campaign anymore. So we pray, Bishop, that
I'm taking some of the criticism. But I don't like people just criticizing everything. That's
then encourage your president. Encourage the president to pass or sign no criticism.
Take the meeting and leave the booth.
But thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. This is the end of Bishop Records. The show finished.
You always criticizing everything about my old man. The man is 79 years old. You think you will just be energetic like comics? No, it's not gonna happen.
We will talk about that in the next episode. Guys, thank you for being with us. You can join us next Thursday at 8 p.m. In Eastern time, and also 12 a.m. Liberia time. Again, it's been a pleasure being here tonight. I'm your host. My name is Derek Galley. Before I leave you, let me bid you a pleasant good evening.
On the beat. Sweet cassava olivo. Now for go Sweet cassava olivo. Now for go We take it from Peter today, boy. We take it from you tomorrow, Papa. We take it from Mary today, matter. We take it from you tomorrow, Mama. You pay your tax, I pay my tax. You pay your bills, I pay my bills. We don't know where the money go. We don't see where the money go. Kokolioko, kokolioko, kokolioko. chicken they crow for day. See, Coco, kako, kako, kako na water. Coco, kako, kako, kako na water. Popo urire, oh, popo urire. I repeat, Popo urire, oh, Popo urire.